The Hemp Wizard signature series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your
Where am I? And that is my cue to start the show. Welcome to another live edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from High Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour weekly get together where we bring you all the biggest news around the worlds of heavy metal, hard rock, and sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday. That's right, Thursday, May the 30th, in the year of our good Lord 2024. We are nearly approaching the 6th month of the year. Holy cow, we're almost through half of this year already. Boy, time flies when you're a grown-up. I have to tell you. Boy, you got to stop and smell the roses. I have to learn to do that. It's been an interesting week. Weather's getting nicer and nicer. Had a beautiful day out today after some real rain yesterday, but we got a lot to talk about. I hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. I had a boring one. I had a nice dinner out with my parents on Friday night. Spent a lot of time in the house. I had a lot of work to do, unfortunately. Did not do a hell of a lot with my weekend, 3-day weekend off, but I got a lot of stuff done for work, got some stuff done around the house, and got a lot of rest. So that much, it was good. We're waiting for Jeff to pop on to the show, so looking forward to that. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. You got, obviously the highlight right now, the Rangers in a great series, tied 2-2, went down to Florida even, took game 3 in overtime, lost game 4 in overtime. What you're starting to see in this series, folks, is can Florida keep up their maniacal pace? Can they keep up the physicality of it? Because it is affecting the Rangers, especially their top 2 lines. They are getting some good play out of guys like Gaudreau and Lafreniere. Obviously, Igor standing on top of his head, making plays. But that requires Florida to keep playing at this pace for another 3 games. And you wonder, and it's all, see, the other part of this is they make a lot of mistakes. Now, the question is, it's not mistakes in they're making mistakes in the sense of they're making errors. They're making mistakes because they're playing at such a high pace that all you need to do is miss one check, get caught out of one play, and there's somebody open. So the Rangers have to take advantage of that. I still believe the Rangers are the better team. I still believe the Rangers will win the series. Obviously, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, this is a huge game tonight. This is a huge game. Winner tonight has to just win one of 2. Rangers have 2 at home, one tonight and one on Sunday, in between on Friday night. Sorry. So it's tonight. It's tonight, Saturday, and Monday. Sorry. So tonight and Monday night, in between on Saturday, the Rangers have to go to Florida to play. So this is a really great series. If you love playoff hockey, which I do, most people do, will tell you, well, I'll watch a little during the regular season. But unless you're a diehard fan, there's a lot of hockey during the regular. It's like baseball. You catch a game here, the game there. You watch a few innings a night. Playoff hockey, I watched every game. Now, I did fall asleep third overtime of the other night's game. I tried to stay up. I just couldn't do it. I've been putting a lot of late nights into this. So I did miss the Rangers losing in overtime, but it's a great series. Igor Shesterkin is one of the best goalies I've ever watched. He's standing on top of his head. Again, the Rangers are getting some good play from some lesser guys. The big three, Panarin, Zibanejad, and Kreider, have been nowhere to be found in the series. Now, I understand Florida has gone out of their way to take them out of it, but if you're three great players that they are, you got to find a way to impose your will. And tonight it has to happen. The Rangers have to go out there tonight, and they got to win this game going away. I'm not taking to blow them out, but you got to win by 2 goals. You got to win. You got to get into the third period up 3 goals, up 2 goals, a little bit of comfort. This Ranger team has got to skate with the puck. They cannot be afraid of the hits, and they've got to move the puck quick. All right, so big game tonight for the Rangers. Lots to talk about with the series if we get into it. Again, I'll run through. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. The Negro League stats have now become part of Major League Baseball. I'm kind of torn on it. I want to see where Jeff stands on this. I don't know how I feel about it. So we'll see. We'll definitely kind of see how that. We'll talk about that. We're going to get to Bill Walton passes away. A kind of odd figure in history. Part of the revolution of the '60s, but a great college basketball player. Won 2 NBA titles, but a very injury-marred career. More of a 6-man later on with the Celtics is where he kind of got his spot. We'll get my dad will be on. He'll talk a little bit about that. The complete falling apart of the Mets. This might be the most embarrassing season I've seen from the Mets in a long time. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about let's see what else I want to get to. Let's see. Okay, it's a dead month now before the NFL season starts. We're getting closer to a possible Black Sabbath reunion. We'll talk about celebrity endorsements in politics. And I kind of got to get to politics. There was a big thing happened today, and we got to talk a little bit. Now, I'm going to hold off a little while, but I would just tell you, folks, we are doomed as a society. After what I've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks with this Trump trial and the legal experts on both sides, the lefties, the righties, the middles, everybody has questioned the motives of this judge, this trial in general. I think it's bad for future presidents. Will now, if you have a Democratic president who, doesn't really break the law, but kind of kicked it around a little bit, you're going to see presidents put on trial. It's disgusting. If there was a real crime here, I'd be all over it. Okay, to be honest with you, I'm for nobody getting. I don't care who it is. What I watched for 6 or 8 weeks is absolutely vile and disgusting. I'm sorry, and you don't have to. You have to agree with me. I'm not going to go into it once I open the mics up. But I have to tell you, it's absolutely frightening. And if you aren't paying attention and you think, what's the big deal? Our foes are watching. China's watching. Russia's watching. They're seeing the systematic dismantling of this country by ourselves. And the simple answer is one political opponent tried to take out another political opponent with a sham trial. And this is what they do in these Venezuelas and all these crazy countries. And this is what happened. And if you don't think so, you ain't paying attention. And I'm sorry that you're not. I am sorry that you're not paying attention. If you really believe what transpired today is legitimate, I apologize to you. You are not paying attention. This is a sham and should never have gotten to where it is right now. The judge who's on this case has a daughter who works for the Democratic Party, has a daughter who works complete against this judge has absolutely paid money to organizations who are out to get Trump. It's fact. It's not. I'm not making stuff up. And this guy was allowed to sit on not only one trial, but this is the third, let's call it anti-Trump trial that this guy has magically somehow gotten. These are random. One judge is getting all of these cases. What does that sound random to you? This ain't random, folks. Pay attention to what's happening here. You say, "Oh, what's the big? It's only Donald Trump." You know what? This could be you. This could be me. This is a guy with a lot of money who was president, could be president of the United States in 6 months. And this is what's happening. It's disgusting. And then listen, I'm not going to knock Robert De Niro or any other actor or musician or ball player for having their affiliation. You hate Trump, you love Trump. You're entitled to your opinion, and that's it. As long as I don't pay money to come see you and then you spew it, you can do whatever you want. I have no problem with that. But Robert De Niro sounded like a complete moron yesterday. If you follow what he said, 3/4 of it was lies. The other one, he was talking about Trump never take a punch. Did you ever do it? Does anybody really think Robert De Niro took a punch? The guy walks around with security all day. I can't stand hypocrites. You want to come out and tell me, hey, don't vote for Trump. You got to vote for Biden. We're better off on. Go. God bless you. You're entitled to your opinion, 100%. Don't do it at a concert I paid for, or at a bowl game that I paid for, or don't do it at something I paid for. I didn't come for that. You want to get on TV and spew your shit? Do what you got to do. You're more than entitled to it. I could care less who endorses who. I'm going to vote for the guy I want to vote for because I do my homework. I pay attention. I could be dead wrong, but it's at least I've done my homework. I can legitimately say this is why I voted for or against somebody. I don't need Robert De Niro. I don't need James Woods, who's a big Trump guy. I don't need anybody to tell me who to vote for. You shouldn't either. But what Robert De Niro did yesterday was embarrassing. It's embarrassing for him. It's embarrassing me as an Italian guy. I don't know why, but I'm embarrassed for him. It was completely embarrassing, and it blew up in their faces. And it's good. He should go away and just shut up because he sounds stupid. He just sounds completely moronic. So celebrity endorsers, keep it to yourself. Nobody really cares. Nobody is voting except for maybe the Swifties. Maybe Taylor Swift's getting people to vote for whoever she likes. I'm not sure. The rest of us, I hope, have a mind that we don't say, oh, he's voting for so-and-so. I'm going to vote for that person too. Other than that, if you're casting your vote based on that, God bless you. They should lock you up, throw away the key, and then burn the house down that you're in. That's how they should handle that. So what I saw today, and I'm going to let it go from here, was completely disgusting. This wasn't a real trial. I've never seen a guy who the jury was told, you don't all have to agree on the same thing. As long as 4 people agree to different things and you get a total of 12 people, the guy's guilty. Never heard that. Any charge, anytime anybody's supposed to be guilty, all 12 people have to agree on that specific charge. Maybe that happened here. That's fine. But that's not the instructions they were given. It's disgusting how far this judge went out of his way to make it very clear he wanted Trump to go to jail. Now, Trump's not going to jail. It ain't happening. All they want him to do was be able to say he's a convicted felon. Now, maybe this guy wants to impose some sort of a house punishment on him. It'll never happen. They're going to appeal it 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. It'll have to stay and wait for the appeal. And any real judges will throw this case out. Believe me, folks, I apologize for this. I had to get this off my chest. That's why we do the show, to get our opinions out. I got to do this. I'm saying it so I don't talk to myself. Maybe I am talking to myself. That's fine. I'm spewing. Good luck to everybody. Please just do your homework. Don't just say, well, I'm not voting for somebody because I don't like somebody. You know what? Because you're giving your vote to the other guy, and he may be worse, one way or the other. Do your homework and vote for the best candidate. And if you think the last 3 years and a half have been good, okay, I don't. I think we're paying more money for gas and food, and inflation's too high, and everything's too high. But if you don't like what happened the previous 4 years, vote your conscience. But just remember, Joe Biden is never finishing. He's going to be 86. He can barely form a sentence now. Think about this: Kamala Harris will be the president of the United States a year from now, when Joe Biden has to drop out because he's senile. Plain and simple, folks. I've gotten my political rant off. It's great to be on the show tonight. I love doing this. I couldn't wait to open the mics up and spew. Whether you agree or disagree with me, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. I'll get the real show started up, and we can't do that without bringing on my partner in crime, the sexiest man on his side of the screen. Exactly, Robert Finelli. Mr. Jeff Big Daddy Talwinski.
What's up? What's going on?
What's up, pal?
Not much.
Jeff. So let's get the show started. Jeff, how was your week? How was? I know you had to work all holiday weekend and all that, but how was your week?
Long week, man. Long week. I worked a lot of overtime, and they want me to go in tomorrow, but I don't know.
At some point, you just got to go. I got to rest. I got to take a break. Sometimes it's just too much.
Don't care.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I'd like to add to some of the stuff you said.
Please. I was going to end it there, but by all means, if you want to jump in, I'm with you.
No, I have a couple questions because
sure.
I'm not a political person. I don't quite understand everything, and
sure.
And to be honest with you, I really don't give a shit what happens, because there's nothing that we can say to ever change what they want to do.
Very true.
We can complain about it, and you won't get beat up or thrown in jail. At least we got that on our side.
That's true.
As far as changing anything, they changed the rules, not us. But correct me if I read wrong.
Go ahead.
Okay, or I understood wrong. So he's convicted on 34 counts.
Correct.
Okay. Which they called felonies, but they said are really misdemeanors.
Correct.
Okay. That's a little confusing, but I don't need an explanation for that.
I could give you one, but go ahead.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. It sounds like it's something that it ain't going to make sense anyway.
No, it's a very simple explanation, but go ahead. You ask what you want to know, and what you don't want to know, you don't want to know.
They also said that if he was convicted, if they were to put him in jail, he might not necessarily have to serve jail time. So they can convict him for 4 years. He's going to appeal the case, okay, which will take a minimum of a year. And then if he loses the appeal, he could appeal it again to a higher court this time.
Yes.
And go to a higher court, I guess, which would be the state Supreme Court or whatever.
Well, actually, we the U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay. And if he goes there and he gets convicted again, or he can't overturn it, he could appeal it another time. But basically, the bottom line is that with everything that happened, he's more than likely not going to jail. Nothing. What was the point of this? What did they do? I said this once before to you, and I'll tell you again.
Yeah.
The bank that I go to, when you go there and you open up a new account, they have this piece of paper that they make you sign so you could go over everything.
Yeah.
And the top of the paper says, "What did we accomplish here today?" Like we're in school and we're learning. So I'm thinking, did they in court have this piece of paper for my bank that what did we accomplish here today? Because it seems as though that nothing's going to happen to him. The felonies are really misdemeanors, which I don't understand that. And we can explain that on another day somewhere down the line. And it's just, my thing is, it's just like, what was proven here? What was proven here? I didn't need a trial to know that he banged Stormy Daniels. I'm not stupid. The guy's a multi-billionaire. There's probably God knows how many more that could come pouring out of the closet at any given time. They've been fucking with this guy for years. Nothing happens. And yet he continues to try to do whatever he wants to do. If I was him, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you people, man. I'm done. I'm just going to go over there, relax, and leave me alone. And they'd probably leave him alone after that.
Oh, absolutely. If he backed off of being president, they would never bother him. And just to make it quick on what the bottom line is, it wasn't about sending him to jail. It was about, one, keeping him from campaigning. So by whenever this court is in session, he has to be in New York. Like, he couldn't even leave the courthouse while they were deliberating. He lives, in Midtown Manhattan. He could have went there. They could have called him, and within 20 minutes, he's back there. It was about tying him up there. And the ultimate goal is to say, from now to the election, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. That's all this is. Because they all know that this is going to even if whether he's guilty or not, and I could go through what the charges were and why it's all bogus, and how, this, just for the record, the Department of Justice 5 or 6 years ago said this is not there's no reason to go ahead after him. New York City under Cyrus Vance looked at it and said there's no crime here, we're not going after him. Alvin Bragg the first time around said there's no crime here, we're not going after him. They all mysteriously, the number 3 guy in the Department of Justice, the guy who was number 3 in the Department of Justice right now, took a leave of absence and went to work for Alvin Bragg as part of the team to go ahead now and convict Trump. Somehow, mysteriously, the number 3 guy in the U.S. Federal Department of Justice somehow stopped working for them, took a pay cut and a decreased job to specifically work on this case. So don't tell me it's not political. At the end of the day, it'll go away. But from now until then, it'll be, well, he was convicted by a jury. It got overturned on a technicality. So from this point on, anybody who doesn't like him or anybody who's up against him going forward will always be able to say, well, he was a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. And if you go through the charges and what they're this isn't about him banging Stormy Daniels. This is about he signed a non-disclosure agreement. He said basically, here's $130,000. You can't talk about this. And she said, yep, no problem. She signed it. Fully legal. There's nothing. What they're saying is he conspired to do this to keep it out of the campaign. Meanwhile, this thing was signed in 2018. It's 2 years after the election. Yet they went back and resurrected these misdemeanor charges. And by the way, just for the record, never told him there was crimes that he was being accused of that he didn't know until the jury deliberated, which is complete. You're supposed to be able to know everything you're being accused of. You're supposed to be able to go out there and say, hey, this is my defense against those things. He was not allowed that. There's a bunch of reversible errors here, and that's fine. But again, this wasn't about putting him in jail. This is about just being able to say Donald Trump is a convicted felon. And somebody, and that's what they wanted.
Fucking retarded, because they also said that they're probably not going to charge him with any bail because of who he is, and he's not a flight risk. He's not this. He's not that. All right. So, like I said, what did we accomplish here?
Nothing. It was just about. See, that's why it's political. You get guys from the Department of Justice. Joe Biden's Department of Justice sent a guy there basically to oversee this to make sure this happened. You got him in New York. They wouldn't let him. They put a judge. Think about this real quick. I'm sorry. I gotta get this out. Judges are picked for cases randomly, right? Randomly. This guy got picked for 3 separate Trump trials. 3 separate. So randomly, the same guy whose daughter works for the Democratic Party, who, as the judge, has contributed to Joe Biden's campaign, who has contributed to organizations who were specifically out to stop Donald Trump, was the judge in 3 separate trials that are tied to Donald Trump. You can't tell me this isn't rigged. That's fine. It's over and done with. He's convicted. And yes, he'll never go to jail. It's too much. They don't want him to go to jail. They just want to be able to say from this point going forward, but you're a convicted felon. But you're a convicted felon.
That ain't gonna do anything.
And look up when you get a time. You want to, and it's really worth looking into how they took 6 misdemeanors. Who, by the way, all the statute of limitations had run out on all of them. Like it had been to the point where you can't be convicted of these crimes. They resurrected it by adding some sort of federal charge that technically they should not have been able to go after him for. And by the way, didn't tell him they were going after him for until after the trial was basically over, which is again illegal. So again, guys, I follow this thing every day. I listen to it nonstop when I was in the car, and because I wanted to be up again. If he was guilty of these things, if he really did these things, it would change my opinion. I'm not voting for a real crook. I just wouldn't do it. I love Donald Trump. I think what his policies are what I believe in. But if he did something to cause it, I would be a hypocrite to vote for him. And I honestly wouldn't vote for Joe Biden, but I wouldn't vote for Trump. What I watched was a sham. So I just had to get it off my chest because I was in the car fuming over it because I don't like hypocrisy. And when I listen to it, it's hypocrisy. So that was my take on it, Jeff.
All right.
So we can move on to the real show now, I guess.
You want the real show? I just want to put my air conditioner down a little bit. I'll be right back.
Let's get my dad on. I'm sure I want to talk a little Bill Walton or maybe some Yankees. Yankees are playing great baseball. What's up, Pops?
What's up, Tom?
Not much.
Well, Bill Walton was
Oh,
was
Hey,
a good.
Victoria.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I remember him from UCLA.
well, you got both ends of Bill Walton. I know Bill Walton was one of the great college players, right?
He played on a John Wooden team,
Yes.
and they asked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who he thought out of all the years that he played and everything, who was the best basketball player, and he said without a doubt it was Bill Walton.
Mhm.
Walton's problem was he was too into this free love stuff, smoking pot, taking pills, political.
But he
you know.
but he did win 2 championships there. He
Yeah,
dominated.
No. Not taking anything away
Yeah.
from him. I
Now-
thought he was a great ball player. I don't
Now-
think he was in the same league with a lot of the other ball players.
No, I agree. He played on a great team. I mean, he played with some amazing players. Sven Nader, Jamal Wilkes. You know,
Played with
those
some
were
good
great,
ball players.
great teams. But his pro career was a bit up in the air, right? Because he came out, he won a championship with Portland, but then he got hurt, right? Spent some time in San Diego,
Yeah.
and then he had like a second career with the Celtics, kind of like coming off the bench, backing up Robert Parrish, won a couple more NBA titles. So his career is a little up and down, but I would say in the whole, I would think he probably had a really good basketball career if you count college.
He had
and his
one.
pro.
The only thing that he did wrong that I thought was he mixed politics with his basketball.
Yes.
There were times he wouldn't show up for a game because I forgot the name of the couple. There was a couple that was very radical, or what we called at that time radical,
Uh-huh.
and he was very friendly with them. And but he was a great ball player. I thought he was a very, very good ball player.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I got to
Now,
watch.
what I like to ask you about
Sure.
is I watched the hockey. I've been watching the games pretty good.
Sure, me too.
And I got a statistic that I thought was outrageous.
Okay.
The last period, the third period
Mhm.
that they played in the fourth game,
Okay.
15 minutes they spent in the Ranger
Yeah.
end of the. Now, how can you come out and play? Eventually, you have even us, the three of us could form a line, could score. Because after a while, the goalies just.
Well,
And
you have so many chances. Eventually, a puck's going to get in the net. And if you watch a lot of the
Well,
goals
that's what
by
I'm
Florida,
saying.
you watch a lot of the goals by Florida. They're tip-ins. There are garbage goals around the net. Like they aren't beating Shesterkin on slap shots from the point, or they can't beat him on breakaways or on wide open shots in front. It's all like garbage goals. But
Yeah,
they're goals.
they're like roaches.
Yes.
Wherever the puck is, that's
Yep.
where they are. The whole team seems. The Rangers on the third. What was it? The third game. They came out in the first period, and that's the way they played, and they scored.
Yes.
So why would you stop now and go? And then they get a goal lead, and then they go into defense.
I
Instead of
agree.
just continually playing what you're supposed to.
Well,
Either
the
you
problem-
can't do it.
Yeah, the problem for the Rangers is the way you beat this is you got to move the puck quick. Their defensemen can't seem to do it. You know, they get the puck in their own end and they're giving it away. I mean, Miller and Truber have been horrendous. Fox doesn't look good. The way you beat this is by moving the puck. So when two guys are skating at you to try to jam the puck in, you got to move the puck cross ice, up the ice, and out, and you got to force them into situations where they're not pressing but running to catch up. And the Rangers when the Rangers have done that, they have done a great job, but they haven't done it enough. And their forecheck has beaten the Rangers. Listen, the Rangers have been outplayed in probably 3 of the 4 games. They just, they have been the better team and have won some games late. But, to me, they just have to take advantage of the way that the style they're playing and move the puck. and you can throw it back at them. You said it. They came out the other night. They played the same style right back at them, and the Rangers looked like they couldn't be beat. And then I don't know if they're just not conditioned enough to do that for 3 periods, but the Rangers could be in trouble. If the Rangers lose tonight, they're in big trouble. And you can say the same thing about Florida, but the Rangers don't have a style that can beat these guys 2 games in a row. They need to win tonight and have a chance to win either one of these last 2 games. But great hockey series. It's one of the best hockey series I've ever watched.
No, I've seen good hockey. It's just that it's like they can't play 3 periods.
Yes,
They can only play 2. They get in the first period, they get the lead. Their defense starts playing. The offense. I mean, how do you have the lines that they have, the first and second line, and not be able to score?
I agree. Listen, I agree with you. They're taking those lines out. Now, they're lucky that Goudreau and Lafreniere have put the puck in the net. Trocheck's been great. They've got nothing from the big 3. But let's be honest, if Shesterkin's not standing on his head, Jeff, game 3, the Florida Panthers had 104 shot attempts, 37 or 38 shots on goal, but 104 shot
That's an incredible number.
Right. Now, they only had 38 shots on goal to the Rangers 20-something. But, think about how many shot attempts, and yet they still lost the game. Like, that's the weird part. They lost the game because
shot attempts are different than shots on goal.
But it tells you you're playing in one end of the ice all night.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's all their offense.
Correct. So all the pucks flying toward the net. Now, might be hitting the net, but it's flying around the net, and it forces you to play more defense, your goalie to work harder. I mean, this kid is standing on top of his head. This is one of the best goalie exhibitions I've ever seen in my years of watching hockey. This kid has been absolutely fantastic. I knew he was good. I didn't know he was this good. He's the only thing that's kept the Rangers in this year. The Rangers would be down 3-1 at this point if it wasn't for Shesterkin. But Frankie Catalano's right. The referees are letting them get away with a lot of stuff. They've been flopping all over the ice. I mean, everything looks like they took the guy's head off, and the next thing you know, the guy's out on the ice 2 minutes later. I mean, it's just ridiculous shit. But it's good hockey, a lot of good hitting, some scoring, and great goaltending. This is all of what playoff hockey is about. This is a good game. This is going to be a great game tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Should be good. Should be. And just to make mention, the guy, the pitcher from the Mets, they basically got rid of him. Lopez.
Yeah, well, listen, he deserved it. I mean, here's what I would say. I would say I get being frustrated. I almost get thrown the glove into the stands. You can kind of, all right, but you can't go into the dugout and you can't go in front of the media and say this is a bad team. Like, you just can't say it. Like,
but he's telling you the truth.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying how do you? I mean, listen. Let me tell you something. And I was going to get into it, guys, but this is probably the worst Met team I've seen in a long time. I mean, they play terrible defense. They get caught. Their base runs atrocious. They can't hit. They can't hit in the clutch. Their bullpen has been horrendous. Diaz has come back to earth. They have injuries, and I didn't see it, but all over the radio today, they were talking about Sterling Marte loafing after a fly ball that went foul that he could have caught that he didn't catch. The Cohen 5-year plan is a disaster, and to me, this should be the bottom of where the Mets could go. I mean, they have to clean house and start all over. Yeah, I mean, you can't be a Met team at this point and look like this. It's beyond bad.
What is it they need to do? Do they need to get different baseball people in there? I mean, whoever the owner is, this is just a horrendous team.
Yeah, when he came on,
anybody affiliated with this team, from the owner to the players to whoever, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so he's wanted this guy David Stearns, who was like the general manager, president for the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Brewers would not let him hire him. And then he actually spent the year out of baseball last year because they would not let him go to the Mets. So he's been using different people. Billy Epler didn't work out. He hired a couple of guys who didn't even get a chance to. One guy got caught DWI. So but he came in. I got all the money in the world. 5 years we're going to be in the World Series, And right now, I think this is year 5 or 6, and he's horrendous. The problem is they built their team around a bunch of guys who maybe when having good, decent years, career years, and it's a bad mix. Their best player is Pete Alonso, and he's an average player. I'm sorry. If you ain't seen it, yes, Stearns absolutely has to get a chance 3 or 4 years to fix it. The problem is their farm system is not good. Guys like Beatty, Vientos have not done anything yet. They've basically built a bad team. They gave Nimmo a contract he probably deserved. They signed Lindor to a contract he should never have gotten. You know, they're talking about giving Pete Alonso a long-term contract. This team needs to be broken down and rebuilt, and it's years away from being a great team. A good team maybe in a couple of years, but this team's a long way from being a great team. Long way. But, Jeff, to your point, yeah, the problem is he finally got his GM in last year or for this year, and you got to give the guy a chance to break it down and build it back up.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, how many guys have come in and tried this? It's unbelievable. It's just it's not fair to Met fans. Well, also, actually, it's not fair to all Met fans. Some Met fans, I hope they live this dream forever. They deserve it.
Are you talking about?
I'm going to let you guys
I'm
go.
not talking about anybody in particular.
Nobody in particular.
I'm just saying some Met fans, they need this.
We'll see. But now, join the game tonight. Enjoy the game tonight. I'll see you over the weekend.
Tell Lukey I'll see him.
All right, yes, he'll be waiting for your part tomorrow.
I know he will.
Yeah.
All right, take care,
Bob.
Jeff.
See you later.
Hello.
That's my daddy checks in every week, and we should be getting a call any second now from a true Met fan. My man Carmine Big looks like he might be calling in to say hello. So let's see.
Let's go back to what I just said.
Go ahead.
Real quick, all right?
Go ahead.
They've hired countless baseball people.
Yes.
In the last couple seasons. They've had a winning rotation.
Yes.
Okay, that fell apart, splintered and fell apart. They like what happens? Teams come here and that's it.
Yeah, well,
I should say not teams. Players
come here. Yeah.
And what exactly is the missing piece?
I don't know the answer to that, Jeff. They tried it with Buck Showalter, and I thought Buck was the wrong guy. Not the wrong guy. He was the right guy for the wrong players. They didn't want to buy into. They were making too many mistakes with him as manager. There was too many bad things happening. His message, and it's been Buck's big thing over the years, is his message is right, but it goes in and out quick. He's one of those guys you got to win with quick, otherwise he's gone. When they fell apart in his second year, and then last year was a complete disaster. So yeah, I don't know. The answer to your question is unknown because they haven't been able to do it. Every time they think they got the greatest pitching staff in the world, turns out they don't. They bring in guys like Cespedes.
Last year, taking on those two guys, 37, 38-year-old pitchers. Like I can see having one, not both.
Well, they were going for it. In their eyes, they had a good enough team hitting wise, and then they had the manager. They had a decent pitching staff. Yeah. You know what? I know
the curse, Frank. I know the curse.
I can't even argue with it because, but what it shows you is you can have all the money in the world. Just because you do doesn't mean you know how to pick the right players. Now, you got to pick the right guy to pick the right players to use your money. And that's what they're trying to do now with David Stern. And I don't know if he's going to do it or not. He did a nice job out in Milwaukee. So maybe he does it here.
Take money out of the equation.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though I understand, to get good players, you got to spend money because, a great player is going to cost you a lot more money than a good player.
Sure.
And the Mets haven't done anything to lure a great player to want to be there to say, you know what? I'll take a little less money to go there because I got a good chance to win.
Yeah.
I just don't, it's not always about signing a guy that's going to make $50 million a year. That's just not the case. It's, we all know that. We look what George Steinbrenner did in the 90s with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Basically just wrote out checks and sent them away to nowhere, and I'm not saying that the Mets are the same way. Don't get me wrong. I think that they have good intentions, and I don't think that they want to buy a World Series. I think they want to nurture players and everything else. But I mean, do you go get an outside guy? So I don't know. Like, I don't even know like how to ask the question. You know what I mean?
I think it's fair because as a baseball fan, I can look at the Yankees for the last 5 or 6 years and tell you what was wrong with them. I don't have to be a baseball man. The Yankees were too slow. They mashed and killed bad pitching, but couldn't hit good pitching. So I can tell you how to fix the Yankees in a heartbeat. I can't tell you how to fix the Mets. It's almost like you got to go, okay, take everybody off this team and fire them and trade them and get rid of them and bring in all new guys, because the guys you put together who were supposed to be the core of this team, McNeil, Nimmo, Alonso, Diaz, all these guys that should have worked out haven't. Your best pitcher going into this year, who was a number 2, Kodai Senga, he gets a bad elbow, a bad arm before the season starts. It's very difficult for this, and the only way to really fix this is to wipe it clean, because there's just too many bad players on this team. Guys who either don't get along, who don't live up to their contract, who don't mesh as a team. To me, this has to be shut out. The problem is their farm system's not creating great players, and they haven't picked good ones to come in. So how you fix that is what they have to go through right now. You have to have the right people in the right place to say.
But Tom, you've been going through this, and how you doing, Mike? You've been going through this for years now.
Yeah,
years.
Absolutely.
You're on the fringe of taking the next step, and it's like you get knocked off the rug. I don't understand it. Like how many times can you let this happen?
I agree. And there's a lot of people were calling for the head of Brian Cashman. He's been the Yankee GM since 1996. No, 97 or 8. Watson was in 96. I think he took over in 98. And he's had some rough times, but he's proven that he can build a team. It goes away a little bit. He can rebuild it, which he's got this year. He went out and got Soto. He paid Judge. He's done a really good job. He's built a good pitch. He's built good bullpens for years now. You got to get a guy, and the Jets. The Mets need to get a guy, and maybe they have in Stearns, who now stays around for 20 years and has a recipe for building a successful team. That's what you got to hope if you're a Met fan. And speaking of Met fans, Jeff, I got to bring him on because I got a feeling, yes, Frankie and Yankee fans hate the guy, and I don't know why. The Yankee fans.
I can tell you why they hate him.
Why?
Because when was the last time the Yankees won a World Series? You say all this stuff about him, and yes, it's true, but he won these World Series 20, 25 years ago. What has he done in the last 10 years?
But
here's the thing. Barely makes the playoffs.
I got it, but how many teams win the World Series every year or every 5 years? The last year was the worst year they've had in a long time, and they were barely over 500, but they've never been under 500 in the last 20-something years. So I get your point.
I hear that, but listen, nobody plays the game to finish it over 500.
No.
You're supposed to be playing the game to make the playoffs and go for the World Series.
100%.
Now, I understand exactly what you're saying, because a lot of people would want a successful season where they were a great team during the season and maybe they got knocked out in the first, second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I can understand all of that. But, the Yankees have a certain tradition that, that holds them to a higher standard.
I got it. And I understand that. And I hear people say that all the time. But the truth is that's a little unfair, because how come no other team in baseball has the same standard? So to me, if I told you the Mets had 25 years
in baseball have that standard today, it's all about getting paid.
No, and Patrick, the Mets are an embarrassment, and this is really what this is about. And I'm going to bring on my man Carmine, the doctor, Mr. Met himself, to kind of spew his ugliness. But this isn't about the Yankees. But at the end of the day, if you're the Mets, if you're any team out there, and I told you for the next 25 years, your team will be either a playoff team or on the edge of being a playoff team, and you win a couple of championships along the way, you say you take it. I guarantee it. Everybody would take
now
it.
It's going on 20 years since they almost since they won their last championship. The Yankees.
It's 15 years, and yeah, it's way too long. But there at least have been successful seasons. I haven't seen a Yankee team like this since '92. So that the Mets have now. So hold on, let's get the doctor on and see what he's got to say.
Can I start by saying that?
Well, it depends. Is it
Tom,
directed at me or your team?
That isn't at my fucking boy ZZ Top, my handsome fucking friend over here, Jeff. Jeff, I gotta ask you a question.
Sure.
Last year, didn't this cocksucker on the left side of my screen call for fucking Cashman's fucking head? Didn't he?
I believe he did, yes.
Wipe the cum off your fucking chin. It's all over your fucking side of your lips. You fucking Tommy.
Why is this about Cashman? Why is this about me?
Because you go, no, Cashman. He's so great. He's a blowjob.
Listen.
And another thing, he's not the blowjob that my blowjobs are.
Right.
That's another type of blowjob.
That's a whole different stratosphere. That's a two-handed version. That's a two-handed version.
Yes. Listen to me. Did you hear the song?
Which one?
Turn out the lights. The party's over. I didn't even have to dig him up. He fucking started singing it. I heard it all fucking night. I'm like, who dug up fucking Don Meredith? Well, he was there singing fucking nice and loud. Their fucking season's over.
Let me ask you a question. It's one thing to be the season over because you're playing bad. You got a ton of injuries.
Dude, they fucking suck, man. Come on.
But no. Hear me out. But to me, the reason why I think this is the worst Met team I've seen in a long time is because they play uninspired and bad baseball. That's what bothers me.
You know what this is, Tom?
I got it. Go ahead.
It's a cunt. A cunt. And if you have a cunt and don't have balls or a dick, what do you expect? They got fucking hearts the size of the whole fucking lot of them, dude. There's no fire in this team. They're pussies.
Well,
I'm embarrassed for them.
Let me ask you a question. Most people are giving a pass to the manager, but to me, this is a direct. If you're the manager of this team and you're letting this get to this point, I got to ask what kind of balls this guy's got. He's got to take control. Now, what kind of control can he get?
Hold on. He's a Yankee. He's a fucking great Yankee. What's the matter?
His uniform says Mets on it. His uniform says
Mets.
Okay.
He just put it on. It's like if I put on a T-shirt that says jerk off. I'm already a jerk off, but it just reminded me.
Don't drag my 39-18 team into this. Leave us way out of this.
Tom,
he put on that.
Tom, all I'm going to say to you is the same thing. It was in 22 that you guys were like 60 and fucking 20, and you shit the fucking bed and went 500 the rest of the way. Don't forget that.
Well, listen,
it's not how you start. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yes,
you haven't seen one post from me. I'm a firm believer. Baseball is a series of small seasons. Right now, the Yankees are in a great season. It could change.
Absolutely,
tomorrow. It could change tomorrow.
No, I'll tell you. I heard them talking about it, and if they even think of doing this with that fucking guy Gill or Heel, whatever the fuck his name is, don't think about making him a closer. There was one Mariano. Let this other jerk off that fucking blows one every now and then. It's you guys. You forgot how great it was to have a guy so fucking automatic, it didn't matter. You gave him the ball, you knew it was coming, and you couldn't do a fucking thing with it.
I am 100. Listen, there'll never be another Mariano Rivera. That's a guy who is the best player I've ever watched play the game, barring positions. Doesn't matter. There's one guy who, from the first day of his career till the last day he played, was the best at what he did. And if you could go back and tell me a guy who you can name his 2 or 3 screw-ups in his entire career, that's pretty good.
What's amazing, though, Tom, really, you knew what the fuck he was throwing.
Yep.
It didn't fucking matter.
Exactly.
He was able to put it on a lefty on your fucking fist. If you hit it, it was going to be foul. I don't give a fuck what you did. Unless you step back in the box, that would be the only chance. That fucking guy was.
Yeah, it's the
that was one of the best I ever saw.
Absolutely. So to me, I did not hear the Luis Gil going to the bullpen. It's to me, you get
Don't
Cole
even
back.
think that kid's fucking ridiculous.
To me, I understand. Listen, it's a good problem to have, but you know what? Nobody's gotten hurt. Not Wood. Somebody's going to get hurt when Cole comes back, and you'll need him in that spot. And yes, the Yankees need a closer. I do not like Clay
You
Holmes.
see what the fuck I'm doing?
Oh, here it comes.
Don't make me do it.
He's dropping.
You
the
know,
hammer.
every fucking year I do. The hammer goes down. I don't want to. I like this team. I know you think I hate the Yankees. I really don't.
No,
I
no.
enjoy breaking balls. That's what I do.
You hate
But-
Yankee fans, but that's all right.
Some Yankee fans, you're not one of them. You're not one of them.
Thank you, my friend.
There's certain Yankee fans that are bit. Oh, and by the way, guys, I mean, this is what's going wrong with the Mets. This fucking poor closer. I know what the problem was.
Oh, here we
He
go.
separated his pussy. That's why he's on the 60-day fucking disabled list. You ever separate your pussy?
Hey.
No, right?
No,
So,
no.
okay, so you know what the fuck? He's going through pain.
Yes,
And he
is.
played. That's why the ball, he couldn't control it.
It's-
Dude,
Jeff,
not for nothing.
Yeah.
He's the same twat he was
Well,
when he came here and was getting his tits lit.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a guy who's had the stranger creating this guy? He leaves Seattle. He had like 50-something saves. Comes to the Mets, and for 2 or 3
Ridiculous,
years,
I know.
he was ridiculously bad. 22 has the greatest season in the entire world. People are comparing him. He's the next best Mariano Rivera. Last year,
Every time I hear him say that, I get nuts. But go ahead.
jumps up and down and winning a ridiculously
A
exhibition
jerk off waste fucking Aki, what the fuck are you doing? The
And then-
MLB are a bunch of cunts. How do you let someone that you're paying, that you're paying, know when you do this? Sorry, dickheads, you play this fucking thing in October or November.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
if you do get hurt, you got a chance at
Yep.
fucking coming back.
Yeah, but you played in
Pisses
March.
me off.
You played in March. It
Hey,
makes
dude.
no sense.
Yeah, that is so fucking stupid. I had to come here to take my kid. Right now, my balls have been kicked over my ears like a fucking donkey. Donkey kicked the string. They're hanging over like fucking
yeah.
earrings.
Yeah,
And the
you
whole
know-
dude, I don't even watch it.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like, I've watched bad baseball. I've watched bad teams
Oh,
lose
no,
baseball
that's
games.
hard. They're hard to
no.
watch, dude.
No, but that's the problem, Carmine.
You
know, Jeff,
watch this?
No. Here's the problem. I've watched teams that were not very good, and they lose. They find a way to lose, but they play a little well, and it's okay. This is a team that you can't watch.
Not
They
at all.
hustle.
I know.
They don't hustle. They don't run the bases well. They don't play defense. They don't ever get a big hit.
Alonzo looks like he's gonna fucking cry at all times. He's a fucking twat.
Yeah.
So's McNeil. The only one I like, and he's having a shit year. Know who's gonna light it up? So right
Who?
now, what are they, 11 games under?
Yeah.
Watch what the fucking shortstop does now. They'll go 20 games under. He's going to bat 400 for 2 months. And say, oh, look at him. He's batting 3. He's a fucking perennial all-star. My cock.
Yeah,
These fucking guys, the whole lot of them.
Yeah, he's
Trade Alonzo.
Yes.
Trade the fucking closer. Well, someone else will say, I'll fix a guy that throws 100 miles on, but just do me a favor. Get him to the fucking American League. Don't fucking give him to the Braves like a fucking bunch of idiots. And talking about that,
Yeah.
look at the fucking Braves. Anyone the Braves bring up is a fucking flat-out stud. We got Beatty that comes up. He looks great. Beautiful swing. Cunt.
No, listen.
I don't get it.
Jeff brought it up, and it was a great point. You know, at what point do the Mets bring in somebody who can say that guy can play, that guy can't play? And the problem is they're trying to force.
Hopefully it Stearns.
Yeah,
You don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know. And
And dude, look at he did it. He did it with Milwaukee. I mean,
Yes,
you fucking. What were they spending? Nothing at the time.
no, I think they got the right guy, but this isn't going to be a quick fix. I mean, they're going to go.
No, it's not, dude.
And they're going to go.
Go ahead.
They're going to go after Soto. They're going to give him a ridiculous amount of money, and they're going to build this team around
That's the
Soto.
only way, Tommy. That's the only way they're going to change this. I'm gonna give you the best example I can. In 2003 or 4, whatever it was, when they signed fucking Pedro, nobody wanted him. because you could see he was having some problems, and they gave him much more than anybody else did, but he got people to come. They're going to have to give this fucking guy $700 million.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And if the Yankees go 650, if I'm him, I'm like, fuck the 50 million to go to these jerk-offs. But if it's 100 million more, come on. That would be, and it's a drastic overpay. Would you not agree?
Yes, but you're going to have to. First off, the precedent's been set by Ohtani already, so it's out there already. Second of all, this kid is 25, going to be 26 years old this year. He is going to be a great player for the next 7 or 8 years. So you would think.
If you're going to spend, you're going to do that. Are these contracts all fucking useless?
Yes,
for the most part. You give somebody a 13-year fucking $470 million contract. I mean, come on, man.
No,
you're at 40.
But if you're going to do it, this is the kid to do it with, because
this is the guy to do it.
He's not 30 getting this contract. He's 25 or 26 years old getting this contract.
Tom, what they can't do is, and I think the guy Stearns will fucking rein in this jerk off and say, look, I know you got a lot of money, and I know you're going to have a casino across the street, and now you're going to go from fucking 16, 17, 18 billion to fucking 50 billion. Great. But you can't just fucking let me fucking do it. This is the great thing. I don't fight you on this. I agree we got to overspend to get him. They've not gotten anybody they wanted to get. And okay, the two fucking slanty-eyed fucks. Am I politically correct to say that?
Yeah, you're politically
correct. Fuck them anyway. All right, good. They're out in fucking California, and that fucking jerk-off, liberal fucking blowjob state. They could stay there, and they'll all fucking die, and they won't win another fucking championship, and I'll fucking love it.
Yeah,
I spent $1 billion on those two fucking guys.
And again, just because you spend the money doesn't mean, Jeff, that you're
don't mean shit.
Right. We all know. We know.
Fucking Mets can prove that. Yeah. No more 40-year-old fucking pitchers. Do me a favor. If they ain't 27, turn your fucking balls upside down and fucking hold them until you're choked out. Either you pass out or you come. Do something, but don't be a fucking jerk off. I think he's learned his lesson with that. But I think dude, the biggest problem is now for all the jerk-off Yankee fans like Andrew Myra, who's got more loads in his fucking mouth than any fucking 10 people I know, and fucking Mo Blow Hedeman and all these other fucking cocksuckers that are pounding me like fucking veal, dude. It's fucking painful.
It's tough, Carmine. You can't. It's tough. Now, all you can do is hold out hope that someone on the line, a couple of guys go down for the Yankees, or they get swept by somebody.
Well, that's nice. That's an early Christmas present. But right now, I mean, I'm fucking holy shit. Look at my boy Rogers. 13 out of 14 in 7-on-7 drills, and fucking I'm like, oh my, I'm getting fucking al dente. And then he'll blow his knee out in the fucking third game.
No,
they'll be 2-0, 40 points a game.
With your luck, they'll play him in like the third exhibition game, and he'll blow out an ankle, and that'll be.
Dude. All I remember was I was in the I was on the escalator, going to my seats. Did not plant my fucking ass in the fucking seat yet, and I'm looking up on the escalator, and he's pounding the turf, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I hear him go, "Oh, but you're bringing out the cart," and I'm like, "I'll get the fuck out of here!" And I start snapping. I'm like, "You fucking kidding me?" And people are looking at me. They don't know. I'm like, "Are you guys watching the fucking TV, or you too drunk to look?"
Oh boy!
I said, "Fucking telling you," and you hear it fucking. It's not like you was saying. You heard the speaking. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm fucked."
Well, let's hope
my friend's trying to call me. He got fuck himself.
Go ahead, Carmine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, no, I got rid of him. Some jerk off.
Well, listen. Let's at the very least, football's a month away. Football's a month away. We'll come July. We'll be celebrating the start of the season, and there's a lot of optimism for you. Or any. Oh boy, here we go.
Jeff, how do the Giants look, Jeff? Can you help me with this?
Boy. Here we go.
Listen, You want to hold on to Daniel Jones. It's not looking good.
That's it. No,
Not
listen,
looking good at all.
I
say
make
4-13.
I make
What would you say? 4?
4-13.
I'm not going to make any. What are you saying, Tom?
I'm not making any predictions at this
Yes,
point. I will just tell you, we will have a better
You
year,
twat!
and we will make the playoffs this year. That's all I'm going to say. We are on the
Oh,
progression.
okay, all right,
We will make the
All
progression.
right.
We will make the playoffs this year.
okay. I'm gonna go out there. You ready?
Go ahead.
I'm not saying anything about Super Bowls. We will win. You want to make some money? Go to the fucking track of Mama Tutte Goza and go to the fucking thing where it says Jets to win division. Take it. Boink. You fucking score 3-1, 2-1. I don't give a fuck what it is. That's right, Jeff. Put that on, baby. We got the fucking Rodgers. Right now, he's high as a fucking kite. Marijuana, heroin, whatever the fuck he's doing, I'm game. Let him do it.
I would agree. Listen, if they can't win this year, I think their defense is ready. Question is just going to be, can the offensive line keep him upright? That's it. That's the only question I got right now. Can the offensive line keep him upright?
Well, they got guys that at least should.
Should. If they stay healthy.
And then the kid they drafted, if he's a fucking big twat too, I mean, how about Vera Tucker not having a fucking Vagisil season? That guy's he's a great lineman. He's never he's separated shoulder, fucking torn this box. He's like fucking the other guy from the fucking Mets. Having a separated pussy is very, very painful. Let's just leave it at
Jeff,
that.
have you ever heard anybody else with a separated vagina?
So why not? You can't say vagina, Jeff. It has to be pussy.
I totally
Could
agree.
be a cat if you want to say, you know.
And yeah, you hear these injuries, Tom.
Oh.
From yesteryear, and they rear their ugly heads once in a while.
Well, we'll have to
Oh, my
keep
God.
our eyes open for that. I wonder if there's any stretching you can do to eliminate that as a possibility.
You can. Acuna promised to get himself right. He blew his other knee out. Fuck his mother.
Yeah,
Not the kid that's from the Mets farm
No, I
system.
got
The jerko from the Braves.
Unfortunately for you guys, it's not them to worry about, right? The Phillies are the team to beat.
Dude,
Unfortunately.
all I can tell you, it is pain. Dude, here's an honest truth. I'll just check the score. I'll check the fucking scores. To give you an example, and I've done this at probably about of the 20 losses, I caught every one at the right time. It's a 3-0 game. They were beating Cleveland 3-0, 6 inning. There's 2 runners on, 2 out, and I just turned the game on, and I'm like 3-0. I said they'll fuck this up. I'm like, who's up? Oh, the former Met. They traded for that blowjob on short, fucking Lindor. I'm like, I could guarantee he's going to hit a 3-run homer. Next pitch, boom. I went, okay, change the channel, put on the porn channel, and rub one out. That's all I had.
Well, just so you know, they're down 2-0 to they're down right now 2-0 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in the top of the 3rd inning. So,
Man, are you sure? That can't be.
unless this is an old game,
Dude.
hold on.
Dude,
no, fine,
Arizona could say, look, guys, I feel bad for you. Why don't we do this? Let's start they give you a chance. We'll load the bases. Just get on base. Go fucking bases loaded. No out. I bet you blowjobs won't score 3 runs in the whole fucking game.
Well, they're Arizona's got a runner on second with 1 out, and they're up 2-0 already in the 3rd inning. So don't turn it on, Kama. You won't be happy.
Jeff, do you hear this cocksucker? He's fucking him and all these fucking Yankee fans. They're fucking. Yeah. Oh, the Mets are losing again. Oh my God. The Pip. Why don't you just use your fucking sock and use it as a fucking shield?
I gotta tell you.
Listen, I gotta say something, man. I gotta get a word.
Go ahead.
Carmine, I don't want to see a team lose, but you don't want to know something? If you're coming on this show,
I don't mind them losing. Yeah.
you need to lose, so we get classics material from you. I don't want to see you come on here as a winner. It's not funny.
Well, listen, I'll still try to be funny. I know you enjoy the funny.
You're getting rid of a lot of pain when they're losing and you're on the show.
Jeff, I got to ask you something. I'll look on that after I put a video out. I'll see everybody laugh. Jeff, like. I'm like, How the fuck do I get this guy to laugh?
Me?
No, but he does. I know he loves
Yes.
it. I know he does.
Now, let me ask
Don't worry.
the
about
last one. The last one. Were you laughing at the last one?
it. I laugh at all of
Want
it.
to do
I laugh at all
the playoffs? Playoffs. When this fucking dick said playoffs, I nearly swallowed my fucking tongue. I was like, wow. Fucking what? I mean, Tommy, you asked me where I thought they would be in the beginning of the year before the year started.
Yep.
You remember what I said? I said, lucky to be 500.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
No, but
And
again,
then-
and that's fine. If they were 500, you'd say, hey, you know what? I get it, but they
I know. But
and again, even
they're fucking horrible.
it doesn't even bother me that, and I should. It's the wrong way to say it, but it doesn't bother me that they're under 500. I get it. Teams have years like that, but it's the type of baseball that they're losing.
Pathetic, man.
That bothers me. You're a grown man playing a big boy sport, making a ton of money, and you're going out there and you're not only embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing your team and your fans. It's embarrassing. That I don't like. That's what bothers me. And if it would be the same if it was the Yankees or anybody else, like you go out there and you give it an effort and you lose, shit happens. There are 30 teams out there. You're going to lose games. I get it. But you go out there and embarrass yourself. To me, that's inexcusable. To me, that just everybody go home, don't come back, and we're going to get 25 new guys and start all over again because you're an embarrassment. That to me,
You have to. So, do you agree? Do you agree they have to fucking trade Alonso? Please get whatever you could get for him.
Yes.
McNeil, you're not going to get anything because he's a cunt.
But you got to trade him.
Fucking Nimmo.
You can
Who,
keep Nimmo.
if you,
You can keep.
I
Nimmo.
like him. I don't
overpaid him.
despise him.
They overpaid him.
What's that?
They overpaid him. But
Yes, they did.
he hustles. He's not a great player, but he hustles. He plays.
He's
games.
not.
And if you surround him with better players, he's a better player. But you can't expect him to be your best player. He's not.
Yeah, he's not. He's got an arm like a limp dick.
Oh, but guys like McNeil.
You see him try to throw, Tom?
Oh yeah, he's horrendous. Yeah, it's horrendous. I couldn't agree with you more. He's one of those guys that he's a gritty guy. He runs hard. He plays hard every game. He's not a great hitter. He's not a great outfielder. He's a good outfielder. He's not a great outfielder.
Right.
But he's the kind of guy you want on your roster. Maybe he's your fourth outfielder.
Yes. Yes.
That kid's
Exactly.
plays a couple days a week. But when he's your best player or he's a guy that's a main cog, you got a bit of a problem. And then the problem is, the rest of them, again, Alonso, it's a great story, but if you're going to have to pay him $40 million to be the player,
dude, not a chance, bro.
I
Listen,
agree.
if they paid, what was it, $160 for the guy in the Braves?
Yeah.
He's not half the fucking player he is.
I couldn't agree
He's
with you more.
just a home run hitter, bro.
And even that, think about that. You get to be 32, 33. How much of that goes away? He's a one-dimensional player. He's a one-dimensional player. So, and even at that, right now, this is make or break
it's
year.
painful.
He's just broken. So I don't have to tell you, Carmine, it's gonna be a long year.
I'm gonna give you something. You ready? Here's another dick in the fucking Mets ass. It's called Pete Alonso. The Yankees are tired of fucking. What's his name?
Oh, Rizzo?
He's going to sign, and he's going to hit 50 homers a year. Why? Because he wouldn't have to do a motherfucking thing. No pressure. He'd be your batting eighth, and he'd fucking tear it up. Why? Because someone else is doing the fucking heavy work.
Nope, you're 100% right.
And then every Met fan will open up their fucking veins, whether via their cock or their wrist, to get rid of things.
That would be the worst thing that could ever happen. Imagine if I don't want him as a Yankee fan, but if he came there and hit the 40, 50 homers a year for the next 3-4 years.
Hey,
God.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, tell me what you think about this. All I'm hearing on the radio today is how they can't stand fucking Rizzo. He's great for the team, but he's fucking horrible. The Mets get all frustrated. Pete Alonso goes, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not taking the deal. I'll take fucking $15 million a year from fucking the Yankees, just not to be with you. I'll take it for fucking 8 years. He'll make $90 fucking million. He'll hit fucking 40 to 50 home runs a year because he don't have to. Judge would be the big shot. Everybody else, he'd be a fucking peon, And that's the only way a guy like him, in my opinion, is really going to light it up.
Yeah.
Maybe he has just Met syndrome. He just can't play over there.
What is it? Cunt syndrome? What is it?
Well, I don't know exactly. I'm not the baseball man here, man. But how about this? How about the Mets start with a couple small things? Get rid of that color blue. Revamp the uniforms, man. Come on, change.
Dude, listen to me. They can wear fucking tutti frutti, yellow, fucking green, orange, and the fucking the zebra from the fruit stripe fucking gum. Let him. It doesn't matter. Jesus Christ could come off the cross and say, "Here, get the fuck out and not do something. I gave you the fucking son. Yeah, I got off the cross. What else do you fucking want? You want me to walk across water? Oh fuck!
Oh, we love
to
you.
Be a jerk off Mets fan, guys. I'm sorry I was late.
No, everybody. No, we love having you on, man. No problem at all.
I needed to take my kick in the nuts because I knew you were enjoying every fucking moment of it. While I was listening, you're going, "Oh, and Cashman is this," and thank God, fucking Jeff is keeping you in check there. Otherwise, there would be so much cum flying all over the place. It just looked like a fucking snowstorm.
For 10 years, he's been doing it. For 10 years, he's been keeping me in line. But come on, I love you. Anytime you want, you let me know when you'll pop up.
Boys, love you. Stay well. Be good.
See you later, Carmine. Thanks, pal.
See you soon, man.
Thanks, boys.
That's the doctor. Came in to give us his monthly rendition of I don't know what you call it, baseball knowledge, a little football in there as well. But boy, it's already after 8. The Ranger game's on. But Jeff, I want to move right to a little bit of a list that we've talked about last week. I've been anticipating maybe Frankie Catalano's. We got the Rangers about to start. Jeff, we challenged you to come up with a list of base players.
Yes, I did.
And we wanted you to keep putting base players up there that you respected or thought were great base players. And at some point, put Gene Simmons and see where he would wind up on your list. How far down the line is Gene Simmons the base player on Jeff's list? Were you able to accomplish this?
I was able to accomplish it, yes.
Now, without telling me anything, was Gene Simmons down as far as you thought he would be? Was he higher up on the list than you thought?
Well, what I did is I stopped the list when I got to Gene Simmons.
Well, yeah, because that's all he wanted. He had to be in a legitimate, whatever. Number 18 was Gene Simmons. I went through 17 base plays, and then I said Gene Simmons. Wherever he wound up, that's fine. After that,
I can tell you this much. He wasn't 18.
Okay.
He was not 18.
All right. So are you ready to unveil this list?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I will say again, was Gene Simmons as high up on the list as you thought he would be? Was he lower than you thought he would be?
He was pretty low, bro.
Okay. All right.
He was pretty low.
Without giving us the final number.
I don't want to tell you how many people were on the list.
Yeah, don't give me the list.
What I want to do is I'll read you the list, and then you can take a guess on how many people are on the list. Now, part of what I did is I went through my phone. I looked at what bands I got, who I like, and everything else. So, names just came out of nowhere. They're not in an order. If I had to put these names in order.
No. Guys that you would respect as base players before Gene Simmons. It doesn't have to be in any sort of order. So, go ahead, Jeff. You start your list.
Okay.
All
right, number 1. I'm just going to read the names.
Okay. No numbers. Just give me names.
As the beginning, John Entwistle, Chris Squire, Geddy Lee, Geezer Butler, Steve Harris, Rex Brown, John Paul Jones, Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith, Flea, Dee Dee Verney, Muzz Skillings, and Doug Wimbish, both of Living Color, John Deacon, Mike Starr from AIC, Alice in Chains, Mike Inez from Ozzy and Alice in Chains, Berry Oakley from the Allman Brothers, Jocko, Joey Vera from Armored Saint, Tim Comerford from Audio Slave, Ben Shepard from Soundgarden, Billy Sheehan, Jack Bruce from Cream, Roger Glover from Rainbow and Deep Purple, Jimmy Bain, John Taylor from Duran Duran, Frank Bello, Verdine White from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Then we have a trifecta here, Jason Newsted, Cliff Burton, Robert Trujillo from Metallica, Paul McCartney, Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead, Felix Pappalardi, Doug Pinnick from King's X, Fieldy from Korn, Marcus Miller, Prince, Dave Ellison from right now he's filling in for Overkill
Yep.
and from Megadeth, Lemmy, Ryan Martini from Mudvayne, Larry Johnston from Leonard Skinner, Chris Wolstein. Let me see. I want to pronounce that right. Chris Wolstern. Yeah. He was from Muse, the band Muse. Roger Waters, Sting, Rudy Sarzo, Dee Dee Ramone. That's telling you something.
Okay.
Duff McKagan, Derek Smalls,
I was hoping Derek Smalls would make the list.
Robert DeLeo from STP, Stone Temple Pilots, Michael Anthony, Victor Wooten, Joe Dart from a band called Wolfpack, and then rounding up the list, coming in last, Gene Simmons.
Wow. So I didn't count him. I'm going to say he was roughly in the 50s at that point. Was it close to 50s?
He was number 54.
Wow. I mean, there was a few guys in there I had never even heard of, and a couple you had hard time pronouncing their names. So you really went out of your way to not put Gene Simmons in the top 50. Wow.
And now that I look at it, there's a couple that I could have put on the list, but listen, that was the first list. I'm not going to redo it. I'm not going to knock the man down anymore. I mean, he played in stockings and underwears.
That's true.
Billy Sheehan was on the list. You missed the list.
He was on there, Frankie. Yep, Billy Sheehan made that list. I don't remember. I'm assuming it was early because it's been so long. You did say Steve Harris, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You said Geddy Lee, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But Frank, did you hear the whole list? It don't matter anyway because Frank is going to argue anyway that the list is loaded and all this other shit.
Obviously, as a Kiss fan, I would have Gene Simmons much higher than 54, but again, I would not have him in my top 15. So it's
right.
but
you want me to redo the list, Frank, real quick?
Frankie's got him at 1.
Yeah, I know he's got him at 1. Notice nobody from Motley Crue on the list either that plays bass.
Yeah, that
stands in the bass player's slot, I should say.
Yeah. You can read the list again if you like to, so Frankie can hear it. But he said no. He said nope.
Yeah, that's all right. Let's save it for next week.
Yeah, Frank, we'll do this every week. He was going to read the list for you. I told you he's in the top 100. You're right, Frankie. He definitely made the top 100. Second half of the top 100.
Is that a fucking dare?
You know what's funny? Memorial Day weekend. You know what? I'm such a huge radio fan. Like I've always been a radio fan since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I would sneak a transistor radio, went to bed, and listen to Ranger games and Knick games. You know, when my father said to go to bed and I couldn't watch it on TV, or even most of the time they weren't on TV, especially if they were home back in the 70s and in the 80s. They didn't have home games on TV. I always loved the radio, and one of the things I always loved on the radio was the holiday weekends. They always had like the top 100 songs, top 1,000 songs, and when you have Sirius Radio, I have Sirius. There's tons of them. Yeah, the Beatles channel had the top 100. I listened to a radio station out there. It's like the last one out here that I can get in. 101.5. It's a New Jersey radio station, Big Joe Henry. And they did a top 50 or 100. And, it's funny. I love that stuff. And it's the same songs you've been hearing for a million years. I see the puck drop. Yep, I got you, Frankie. They already Kreider and somebody's already tangled up. Maybe it's Kachuk. No, it's not Kachuk. But it's Kreider and one of them. It's just going to be a great game. But I love that radio. I love that. Everybody votes and the top 100 songs and they go them down. That radio is dying. It's dead. And it's a shame that we don't have DJs and all that anymore. It's just it's a different atmosphere, Jeff.
I got to agree because in the summertime, me and my wife will go out in the backyard and have a few beers and hang out for a little bit in the gazebo or something. And I'll bring out the radio and I'll make a playlist for the summer. And I still have the playlist that I made for last year's barbecue.
Yep.
right? Which I put so much stuff on that I still have it. I couldn't get rid of it. I
Right.
think it's got like 3 weeks worth of music. It says that I have 28 hours and 25 minutes worth of music on
Wow.
it. It's got a little bit of everything. But when I'm out in the backyard with my wife, every once in a while, what I'll do is I'll just say to the phone, play Q1043
Right.
and listen to Q1043. But because of phones and music streaming,
Oh yeah.
you carry everything right here.
Yeah.
All you do is just, you make that's a great playlist. You have satellite radio, so it's a little different for you. But like me with iTunes and Amazon Music, I make playlists.
Yep. I get it.
And I have the playlist, and I'm just ready to go with a playlist. So I got all different kinds: grunge, Zeppelin.
Yeah, no, and there's nothing wrong with it because you're hearing the music you want, and like when you listen to the radio, you're kind of stuck with whatever the DJ's playing, and sometimes it's a good mix, sometimes it's 5 or 6 bands and songs that you're not into. But what I miss is the DJ. Like I miss that almost interaction with the crowd that you get from the DJ and him talking about what's happening locally or what about a band. I miss that.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like what I was going to say. When you listen to the DJ, everything you said is true. So maybe you missed out on like listening to a song that you wanted to hear. So maybe that was the time that if you're in a barbecue, you'll go. I'm going to go to the bathroom now. Or I got to go take a leak. I'll go get another beer. Maybe you're in a conversation. You could add to the conversation, and then all of a sudden a song or two will come on, and maybe you just fade into the background and listen to the song. But the best part was I heard a song. I like that song, but now I'm not going to hear that song for a while.
Yeah.
Now you're forced to hear something else. When you have a list on your phone, there's times where I'll be like, that was great. I got to listen to it again. I got to listen to it again.
Yeah. No, that absolutely.
And it's like sometimes I listen to the same song 3-4 times in a row. Now the whole thing has lost its appeal.
Yes.
I don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah, of course.
Killed it. And it's only
I've done the same thing. And again, it's to me, that's part of it. And it's nice to go, oh shit, there's my song. And you turn the radio up a little louder and you listen to it. And then you might not hear it for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years again. But yeah, it's that interaction with the DJ. I mean, I grew up a big Howard Stern fan who is now Howard Stern. So fuck him. But that DJ, the Cousin Brucey's of the world. And,
Howard Stern wasn't a DJ to play. He was an entertainer. He wasn't a DJ to play music. So
no, agreed. But it was that holiday music festival type, top 100 songs, and you catch 5 or 6 or 7. It was a top 100, so you were always hearing the great songs of all time. It was you sit in the backyard and the DJ comes on and he's telling you a story about a band or his barbecue or something, and it was just part of being part of something. I have Pandora. My wife has all sorts of playlists on Amazon and all that stuff. We do the same thing, but I do miss that interaction with the DJ that you don't get anymore because of the streaming services and all that. And it's something that's gone by.
I agree. And when you think of it in a certain way, you look back at a certain way that we used to have our music. It was on records. Records would never be outside.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden cassettes came about. You bought cassettes or you recorded songs from albums, then CDs. And then like we've seen so many different changes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Over the years. Now you got nothing other than what's on your phone. Everything in the world is on your phone.
Yeah.
You need to take anything else with you out of the house.
Yeah.
And it kind of ruins it because if I was at your house and you were like, listen to this song, like, who is that? Oh, that was so-and-so. But here, look at the album cover, man. Look at that. I'm like, whoa, that's great,
Yeah.
But at least the DJ, he would tell you about, like, the Kinks are putting out a new song. Like, oh, wow, I'm a Kinks fan. I like the Kinks. I gotta check that out. Then you look for the record. Now, you don't get that no more. You don't get that interaction like you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're looking to him for information. You were looking to him to guide you to something. He played something like, what was that? Well, I never heard that before. And then he starts talking about it like, oh, man, that song sounds great, but it's 10, 15 years old. Like, wow, I missed that for all these years, And Sunday on Q104, I don't know about now, but they used to play a lot of back wall stuff on Sundays.
Yes.
To start off with Breakfast with the Beatles and then back wall stuff. So you could catch some new stuff during the week. That they're just fucking killing the same 6, 7 songs. It seems.
Absolutely, yeah. And you're playing this 10 bands, 7 songs, and you're stuck with the same stuff. And it was okay because I don't know. It was more about the DJ and the interaction with the fan than it actually was about the music, because everybody was playing the same music, whether it was PLJ or Z100. But now you just don't have that interaction, and it's just so sterile. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's any chance that ever makes a reappearance. Like, think about it. When FM radio was free. I mean, you had it in your car. You could turn on. Now people are paying for Amazon Music. You pay for. I pay a fee every month for Sirius satellite radio. FM radio is for free, and I don't know anybody who listens to FM radio anymore. I don't listen to
the stations that you got.
Yeah,
you don't have any good stations. Like every once in a while when I'm at work, I go to work on Sunday mornings. There's this guy. He opens up. He gets there right before me. And he puts on the radio every Sunday. I don't know why he does it, especially since he's a slight lower title than me, so he can't say anything. And I just walk in the back, take out my Bluetooth speaker, shut off his radio, and then put on like whatever I want to hear.
Right.
Sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't. But it's like, you're not picking the music here today, pal. Sorry. You just haven't earned that right yet.
Yeah.
And now, especially since now at work, I'm getting to be more miserable than ever before. Like somebody passed a remark to me the other day, and I gave them such an answer that when they left the room, somebody looked at me and just laughed.
Really?
Yeah, oh man, I can't remember exactly what I said. It was like I was like, I'm a cut above everybody else in this room or something like that. Of the way that they said it, I was like, I had to bury them. And my friend he was just like, dude, that was fucking great, because they didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
fuck them.
Again, yeah, it's just I get it for the work thing, but yeah, I get it. Just too sterile for me. I think the thing that killed the radio obviously was all the ads and the commercials and all of that. You're in the car and you want to just listen to, I listen to satellite and I listen to a lot of news radio, so you still get commercials. But if I want to listen to music, there's nonstop, 24 hours a day. The DJ comes on and says a couple things and goes away. I miss tuning in to hear what Scott Shannon had to say, or what Howard Stern had to say, or what Cousin Brucey was saying about this, or I don't think it ever comes back. I don't think there's ever going to be that nostalgia for that again. People don't have the patience for commercials or.
Well, the commercials like here, the morning drive.
Yeah.
A couple of years back used to be Greenie and Golick on ESPN.
Yep.
So I used to listen to that, right? And they would say, Greenie would come on. I know we used to say it. And now for the next Jet player to wear green. I'm like, well, what does he mean? What is he talking about?
Yeah.
And they would play 17 commercials. He'd say it again. Then he'd talk about the Knicks. And then he'd lead into another story. And then here's like another 35 commercials. And it's like all they're doing is playing commercials.
Yeah.
Now, morning drive radio is supposed to be more talk than music.
Yep.
Because they're telling you about the weather or traffic, all this other stuff. And then you think about it, you're like, these people are playing like 2 or 3 songs an hour, it seems.
Yeah.
And then songs you don't want to hear. So yeah, it is weird. But you know what else too? You're right. Because years ago, if you had a barbecue, instead of listening to a playlist, you put the radio on.
Yeah. Just let it play.
Like you said, 4th of July, maybe they do a countdown.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you'd be like, I know Q104 does the top 1,043 songs. So now you may be in the 700s, but you lose track of where you are, and then you realize that you went from 710, now you're down to like 680.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed a bunch of songs. Where did everybody? You'll never know.
No,
like lost that, but
yeah,
it is what it is, man.
It's a dying breed, and I tune in on the weekends. I go drive my wife to work, or I go to the store, and every Saturday and Sunday, one of the Sirius stations, it's usually the 70s channel. They do all the Casey Kasem top 40s. You know, top 40 from, you know, whatever the date is in 1970 something. And you get all these crazy songs, but it's all big hits from that era. And it's fun, you know, and he comes on and it's his old show and he talks in between like he used to. And I remember as a kid growing up, you know, you would be driving in the car with your parents or you just got your car and Casey Kasem was on the radio and he would do his top 40 and, you know, you heard some of the bigger hits of what was going on back then. And to me, like I said, I just miss the era of the DJ, those holiday countdowns, you know, top, you know, Labor Day, you get the top 100 songs of the summer, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I wish that stuff would come back.
I just made a playlist called AM Gold.
Okay.
And tried to focus on songs that I used to hear on AM radio.
Okay.
I know a few others slipped in, but nothing modern. All songs like from the 60s and 70s. And I want to try to make one from the 50s also.
Oh, interesting. You know, okay.
Yeah, but like I don't know where to start. So I'm going to have to look on Apple and see if they have any 50s playlists and then take it from there. You know, doo-wop playlists, whatever they are.
Sure. I mean, you get everything from doo-wop to Elvis and all that kind of, you know, Johnny Cash, some of that stuff, that era stuff. But yeah, it's just like I said, it was weird. You know, you're watching certain things, you listen to radios, and it's all sterile. It's just there's no like you don't say I tune in to hear that guy. I need to, you know, doesn't matter what he's playing. I want to hear that guy play that stuff or whatever, you know. So it was an interesting Memorial Day weekend. It was quiet. It was, you know, nothing special. We didn't do anything, and like I said, you know, I've gotten more and more nostalgic as I get older for the things I grew up loving. And radio to me was one of those things that I've always just been a huge fan of. You know, anytime you can hold somebody's attention for hours or even, you know, for half an hour and just making them visualize what you're trying to say. And especially like when you're doing a hockey broadcast or a football broadcast, you know, baseball, whatever sports, but even just music in general, when you take somebody's attention span and they're not visually seeing it, they just have to listen to it, and you can keep them for a long period of time. To me, that's an amazing gift.
You got to be able to explain that. You got to be able to keep somebody's attention by explaining it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And know what you're talking about. This here way they could enjoy what you're saying.
Absolutely, yes. And it's an art form that most people can't do. You know, it's an art form that will sit there and make people tune in and stay with you for a long period of time just on the words out of your mouth and try. I mean, Howard Stern did it for years. No TV, just you tune in and, you know, he would talk about the guests he have or what he was seeing. And you're like, oh my God, that must be the most beautiful woman in the world. And years later, when TV came into it and you would go back and you say, that was the woman he was talking about. Jesus Christ, she's a beast. But at the time, you thought she was the greatest looking woman in the world because he painted such a picture that you sat there and in your mind's eye, you were like, wow, that's got to be the most beautiful woman in the world. And it wasn't. So, you know, that it's an art that it gets lost.
And you got to have the voice for it too.
Sure, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but you know, the thing that you know, yes, obviously people want to, you know, listen to the right. You don't want some screechy voice guy and, you know, all that, but it's still an art to be able to project your mind's thoughts and what you see to other people and make them see it as well and see it as well as you do, or maybe even better than you do. Again, Jeff and Tom here on a Thursday night. You know, it's that getting close to it's next week is this weekend is June. It's the dead month in the NFL. You know, there's just nothing happening. Everybody goes home for a month once the mini camps are over, and then you got a good solid month and change before training camp goes. Well, Jeff, we're on the precipice of another football season. We are a month and a half, 2 months right now from start of training camps.
Yes, man. We will. Looking forward to it again, man. I got a lot of reasons to look forward to it this year.
Yes, this is if you were a Jet fan, this is the year to really be optimistic. I mean, there's a lot of years you get optimistic. Everybody thinks you got a chance. You know, this is a Jet team where you can actually go, what are our biggest, deficiencies? We don't know about the coach yet. We're still trying to figure out what the coach is. But okay, we can get past that, or he may be great. Can our offensive line stay healthy? Other than that, there aren't a lot of questions with this Jets other than staying healthy.
Well, I mean, listen, it's nice to think of that and to talk about that and everything else, but it's everything that comes with football.
Sure.
And, that time of year, the weather will be getting cooler.
Yep.
A lot of things going on. The rotisserie leagues, the fantasy leagues.
Yep.
Where this year there's going to be a split.
Oh, yes.
There's a split amongst some of the teams, and
at least one.
I'm looking forward to striking out on my own, and I'm coming for my mentor, man. I'm coming.
Well, just know once you leave, you can't come home. That's just like there's a rule to it. There's a rule. If you fall on your face, you're on your own.
Remember, the same goes. You can't make a phone call like,
hey
man, sex farm is #1 in Japan.
Very, very true. Speaking of coming home, Jeff, there's some real big speculation about a certain former band, favorite of yours, that is more and more likely looking to do one more show.
Every day, something new comes up, and they're talking about it, man. And the reformation of Black Sabbath. But I tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you something, man. It ain't going to be one show.
See,
it ain't going to be a show. I think it's going to be one year-long tour, quick tour, where they're going to go to big spots. They're going to come to New York, Boston. They're going to go to Germany. They're going to do something like that. But maybe they play tonight in Boston. Now, maybe they don't come again till Tuesday and play Tuesday in New York. Now they take the rest of the week off. They fly to wherever it is they got to go. Then they play a show over here. I can't see them having a vigorous schedule.
No. Omi said it already. He said there's no way in the world we could tour. They don't even know if Bill Ward can even play a full entire show, let alone a tour. I read that the other day. The geezer was like, I don't know if he can even withstand a full show yet. So I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Do I think that it could be, twice this month they play 2 shows in England. Next month they play 2 shows, one in California, one in New York. Could I see that? Yeah, I could definitely see this being, we won't call it a farewell tour, but we'll just say that this is a small reunion, 5 or 6 shows at best. I think they do one and they see how it goes. And there's a drummer waiting in the wings every time.
It's going to start with one, and then the demand is going to be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If it goes well, yeah, I would agree with that as well.
And they're not going to be able to say no to the money, man.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it. I think they all want to play some more shows. I think if they're going to do it now. Ozzy has his health issues. Bill Ward has his health issues. The other guys aren't getting any younger. They're younger than the Stone guys, right? They're a few years younger, not much.
They're all in about the same area. I know that some of the Stones guys are in their late 70s, early 80s. Sabbath is probably in their mid 70s by now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think if you're going to do it, now's the time. There's a clamoring for it. I think the first show will be in England. I think the first show's in those guys. They're not Liverpool guys, right? They're Birmingham guys, right?
Birmingham.
Yeah, I think that's where the first show is. And then you see where it goes from there. Then I could see one in LA, and then see where it goes. But I don't think you're going to see a weekly or bi-weekly thing. I think you're lucky if you get 1, maybe 2 in a month. These guys get a long break, and to me, practices. These guys are professionals. These guys are some of the best at their craft, and I think they can roll out of bed and play together and make it sound great.
We got Iommi and Ward at 76, Ozzy 75, and Geezer 74, who will be 75 this year.
Yeah, so I say this is your, obviously look at the Stones guys. Those guys are in their 80s and they're still going strong. I don't see the same from this crew.
No, it's different.
Yeah. So to me, get out there, do it while you can. I mean, I'm assuming if they came to the Garden, or to the one of the Jersey places, you would pack up your stuff, get in the car, and go and see it, right? I'm assuming, yeah.
I'll be
I'd
there.
say, I'd say you have to. I think
And I'm gonna wangle away to go for if there's a greet and meet, man, I'm going. Meet and greet, whatever.
I will still say that's my biggest regret is I should have got the meet and greet that time. I don't know why I didn't. I talked myself out of it. I had the opportunity to get 2 seats for the meet and greet, and we could have been in a private session with Ozzy in his dressing room, and I regret it to this day.
Well, it is what it is, but if it happens again, I'm not putting the price tag on this, man.
I would agree with that. You can't. But again, let's see. I mean, I still think it's a little ways off from happening. Because even if they said yes today, I'm sure there'll be some practice sessions and a lot of stuff to work out. So you're probably looking at, maybe the fall at best if they decided right now to do it. More than likely, I think you're looking at next year for this to happen. But I wouldn't wait that long. Yeah, I think this is classic. I think it was left. I think it was the wrong way to go out. I think that band had to go out with all the living members in it. I think now it just comes down to can they get Bill Ward to play, and is he capable of playing? That's a good question.
You know what? Right now, let's hope. Let's hold out hope. But it's just nice to know that a band like that are all on the same page, thinking about it. Ozzy and Geezer are talking. You hear interviews with Tony Iommi, and it's just like you just hold out hope that somehow, some way, the clock stops. This happens. They're happy. We're happy.
Yeah.
And we watch it, and they play an incredible show. Wow.
Yeah. No, I tell you the truth. I'm excited for the music scene because our music scene is dying and on its way to being dead, right? So to me, this would pump a little bit of life into our music scene where, I know Maiden's coming around this year and I'm thinking about it. I want to see the set list. I didn't like the last set list they put out. I've seen them enough times where I want to go see a classic concert where I'm not seeing any of the new stuff. I want a classic, and I don't want a classic concert where it's a bunch of their, B-side bad stuff. I just don't.
If I never hear the song "Wasted Years" again, I'll be fine.
No, I'll even say that's okay. I mean, when you start getting into, what's the one? I can't think of the guy's name. Oh my God. They put out a couple. Like I had to look up to see if they were real Iron Maiden songs. I want a classic, third album, first 3 albums. I'm happy, but I've seen them enough, and I'm not going to spend, $400 a seat to go see a bunch of songs that I'm not into. So, for me, the Sabbath thing would be a great way to do this, and pump some life into the music we love. Because really, to me, the scene is dead. I mean, it's just not there anymore. Shame.
Yeah, it is. And listen, I as far as pumping some music in or some ideas or some life into the scene, I don't know, but it can't hurt. I know that much.
No, it can't. And to me, you can go out there, you play a good show. You don't have to make it 3 hours. I mean, you go out there, play an hour and a half of Black Sabbath music. People will take it. And, again, I think it'd be great it would drive up some interest in metal. Again, are we going to see new music? Are we going to care about it? We're not. It's just not there anymore. The songs aren't good enough. And there's too many of these crazy bands that they put out there. So, we'll see what happens. And at least it's something to talk about. Right now, can Ozzy and, Geezer get past their problems? Can Sharon and
From what I read, Ozzy and Geezer are speaking every day.
Yes, but the problem was their wives had a problem back in the day, and then it caused them to not speak. But they are speaking now. But yet, I don't know if it was not Tony. Geezer also didn't call Ozzy when he got sick. Tony calls him every day. It was a lot of weird A lot of weird stuff, but enough where you'd hope that they can basically put it aside for the fans, for themselves, and have one last final bow with the 4 original members while they're all still here. That, to me, would be ideal if you were the guys in Black Sabbath. Well, again, other than that, there just ain't no buzz.
If you were to go out and play one more show,
Yep.
say the Hard Rock and Sports Band came around and did one more show, whatever it may be.
Okay.
What song would you want to go out as knowing that this was the last song you ever played in public in front of people?
Ooh, very cool question. Very cool question. Does it have to be a song we've already done as a band or anything?
It could be any song. It could be, listen, there could be a commercial jingle that you're like, this is how I want to end it, man.
Boy, I would tell you, based on what I've been playing lately, I would tell you Dream Police from Cheap Trick. I would tell you, I would love to, if that was the last song I ever got. It's a song I've always loved from an album I've always loved. Always thought it was way too hard to learn, but I learned it. And I am excited for July 27th to play it. And if we were ever going to do another show, which I kind of hope the Hard Rock and Sports Band does one more show. But if we were to do a one show and we were going to pick an ending, if we were picking a song that we did in the past that was always one of my favorites, it would probably be like NIB. It's one of those songs that that probably in reality would be Lights Out, would be the song I'd like to end it, drop the mic. It's always been a song we've done really well. And it's a long song. And it's probably the song that we should end it with would be Lights Out, if you ask me.
That's cool. Cool pick.
Do you have a pick yourself?
It would all depend on the situation and who I'm playing with at the time. I mean, it varies from person to person. Like, I know that if my last show I ever did was with 25 Missions, I couldn't play some of the songs that I play with other bands with 25 Missions, but right. I would definitely have a song for 25 Missions that I'd want to end it with. Same thing with the Hard Rock and Sports Band, and there'd be songs that I would love to end it with. Wasted would bring me back, because I remember hearing these songs for the first time and learning them and playing them, and like, I think your brother showed me that one. Maybe something from Maiden, maybe Metal Gods from Priest would be a nice way to end it.
Sure.
Because of the way it ends.
Yeah.
It depends on with the Remorons. Who knows what's going to happen with those guys, but it would be nice to play a kick-ass show with them. And I know this much. I know that I'm not going to be able to play that much longer. My hearing is getting really bad now.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, I will still want to hear. And there's people at work, I tell them, they're like, when they talk to me, they mumble. I'm like, why the fuck are you mumbling? And they're like, we're not. I'm like, yeah, you are. You are mumbling. You mumbled when I could hear you. You're still mumbling now. But before I'm completely deaf. I would like to, do something. But I don't know. It would depend on the situation.
Yeah. Well, like I said, to me, I don't know if we could do the Hard Rock and Sports Band without Anthony Carey, and I don't know if Anthony's coming back around this way ever again. I'm not sure we could. We probably could, but I feel like the 4 would have to be there, and then the drummer would have to be somebody. I'm not sure who. I don't know if it's one of the regular cast of characters or one of the couple of guys that have played with us in the past. I'm not sure, but Jimmy, you, me, and Anthony Carey would have to be part of it, I think, in order for it to really feel like the Hard Rock and Sports Band.
Well, listen, who knows if that day is going to happen, if we're ever going to get to put it to bed that way. I don't know. We can only hope.
Yeah.
But then part of me says, you know what? I like when we went up to the studio.
Yeah, that was fun.
Was great. That was a lot of fun. But I also had a lot of fun just a couple of weeks ago. And it would be great if we could get those guys together and you get Paul and Father Bob and you're like, you know what? Let's book a place and have a show. And you come out, play a couple songs. We switch a member. Like, no, there goes the bass player. Oh, here comes a little guitar player. Oh, the drummer's switched. You know what I mean? A little fun like that. That would be great.
I would agree. And I don't think it's far-fetched that we couldn't do that. I honestly don't think it's far fetched. If we said to the guys, "Hey, come, December instead of the studio, we're going to book a show, wherever, and we're going to play, for an hour, and you're going to play these songs, and you're going to play these songs." I don't think it's far fetched to think we could actually pull that off.
I would love to do that, simply because you know what, the amount of people that would come to watch it.
Oh,
It would be
insane.
really cool.
Yeah.
Of we all have the same friends and other friends, and it would just be cool to go out that way. We all started together.
Yeah.
And maybe for us it would be the last show. You don't know. I don't know if Jimmy is still in the band that he was in. I don't know.
I think the answer is yes to that, but they haven't played much. Let's put it that way. At least I haven't seen them advertised much. I saw a show not too long ago.
I don't know if Ronnie is still playing with anybody. I don't think
he's not.
He's not. Oh,
he's not. No, he has. I don't think the band is disbanded. He just hasn't played. They haven't gotten together. They haven't played. That's why he wanted to do that night. That's why it was so important. He said, "I don't really get to play much anymore, and I want to make sure that I do get to play." And so that's why that came about. So,
well, whenever you are going to make these plans, I'm in automatically.
Oh no, I get it. But July 27th is a lock.
I'm just talking like if you said that you were going to do one in August, just count me in.
Oh no, I wouldn't do it without you. To be honest with you, I wouldn't do it without you.
I mean, just like if it's like, okay, I'm gonna, you don't even have to tell me. I'm gonna book them. Get everybody. I'm gonna start looking for August 30th. I'm available. September 10th. I'm available. November 1st. I'm available. That's what I mean.
I would tell you that I decided that probably after the summer, I'm going to try to do something a little more often with that set of guys that we had that day. And then if anybody wants to show up, they can. But when I spoke to Ronnie, he was all in. I got the impression from Jimmy he would be all in if it was a regular, just kind of, it doesn't have to be every week or every month. It just, a little more often getting together to jam and hang out. I think it went pretty well that day.
I think once every month, every 6 weeks, it's cool. What the fuck?
Yeah.
If it turns into something more, so be it.
Yeah. And I for me personally, I thought it went well. I mean, not only did, we hang out and I thought some of the songs actually went pretty good for, a bunch of guys just getting together and jamming.
They did. But, we're not in there. We're not schmoes.
Yeah.
You got people that can play. You got people that enjoy playing. And we have a little fun, man. And it's like, if you're not having fun, what's the point?
No, I agree. So I would tell you that, yes, I think summer's a little tough sometimes, guys. Everybody has plans, this and that. But I would tell you, I started in September. I have a thought to kind of make it a little more regular going forward and kind of do it like, okay, every 5 or 6 weeks, we're going to get together on a Saturday or a Friday night or whatever works. And let's go jam and 2 hours out of your day. And we get to spend a little extra time hanging out and we get to play some music. So yeah, that went well enough that I think if just having somebody sing regularly would be a key for me. But at the end of the day, getting Ronnie and Jimmy and you and me in a room, I had a good time with it. So
did I.
Yeah, it was cool. So let's see if we can keep that going. But July 27th, we'll do it again. And then we'll take it from there. Let's see what else is on my list. We did the bass player stuff. We did the Sabbath stuff. Oh, the Negro League stuff.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about that. So I know we don't have a lot of time left, but this was something, a lot of people think it's a great thing. And I don't think it's a bad thing, Jeff. I'm going to just say, I think it's misleading to a certain extent because you're combining stats for guys who never played in the same league together. Now, I know that's not by the Negro League's fault, but they never played with or against. So it's kind of skewed to add their stats into the same thing. It's not even multi-generational. These guys never played against each other.
Well, you're right, and that's the part that sucks about it. But like, if you were to go into into Major League Baseball Hall of Fame right now, and you said who was the lifetime batting average leader, is that guy from the Negro Leagues going to be the one to pop up, or is that a
Yeah,
special
yeah.
category?
No. Right now, Ty Cobb has now become the second best hitter of all time. It's Josh Gibson has taken over. So that's the part that I have a problem with is Josh Gibson never played in that league. I'm not saying the Negro Leagues was a bad league. I'm just saying this: would he have been better or worse if he played in the majors in his career? I don't know the answer, but I think now to just take his records and stick them out in front of everybody else's, I think it's a little askew.
Here's my problem with it.
Yeah.
I believe they're doing it to appease a certain demographic.
I would agree. It's the woke catching up.
Okay? And if you wanted to do this, Major League Baseball, this is who has the Major League Baseball batting title. This who has the Negro League batting title. This who has the world batting title. Okay? Because if you're going to combine the Negro Leagues, then I believe that it's Ichiro Suzuki, the all-time hits leader of all time.
Oh, you're going to combine the Japanese leagues and all that stuff? Yeah.
Why not?
Sure. Yeah,
Why not?
I don't disagree with you on that. Because where does it end?
Yeah. Well, there's a guy that used to be in Saturayo, I think. I can't.
Yeah, Sarahara. Oh, yeah. He was the best home run hitter in Japan.
Well, he'd be the best home run hitter in the world.
He might be. Yeah,
No,
he might
would
be.
He had over 800 home runs.
Yeah, so
why not make him the all-time home run hitter? FJB. Oh, okay. That's
Paul, you missed my rant to start the show, Paul. Go back to the beginning. Holy cow! What did you say? Go ahead.
I just don't see the point. Like, what is accomplished by doing that, and why do that?
Yeah, I think you can bring the Negro Leagues into the statistics. You can have a separate page, and you can I've been to the Hall of Fame a couple times. I'm sure there's Negro League stuff, and you can put them in people in the Hall of Fame. I'm all for it. But when you say, "Hey, I'm taking Josh Gibson's Negro League stats and putting them in Major League Baseball stats," you didn't even play against the contemporaries. Like, you didn't play against Ty Cobb when you had the chance. You didn't bat against Honus. You didn't bat against Walter Johnson or Cy Young, or those ilk. I don't know that the quality of play in the Negro Leagues was akin to what the quality of play
Totally agree.
Yeah, so I think it's hard to do it. I understand why they're doing it. It's the woke. It's the black people haven't gotten their fair share. We got to make it fair. Fair is I played against my contemporaries and I'm ranked against my contemporaries. To me, it's not the same. It's not equal.
No, it's not.
So that's why it's not fair to me. Again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But to me now, I never, am I going to think of Josh Gibson as one of the greatest Major League Baseball players of all time, Jeff?
No, they want you to.
Right. I can't. He didn't play Major League Baseball. How can I say he's one of the great? Is he a great baseball player? He probably was. His stats show it. How much did anybody really pay attention to the Negro League stats in those days? Guys like Willie Mays, who had some time in the Negro Leagues, that came over to Major League Baseball, Satchel Paige, those guys, Jackie Robinson, of course. Jackie Robinson was a great Negro League Baseball player. He wasn't a great Major League Baseball player. He was a good player.
You're the second person to say that today.
Yeah, it's the truth. I'm not knocking the guy. The guy was it was his temperament that got him into the Major League Baseball. He wasn't even the best Negro League player, but he was a top player there, and he was a good player in Major League in MLB. He wasn't great. He got in the Hall of Fame because of what he did.
How about this? Negro Leagues.
Yep.
Okay. These were the name of the leagues that were back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe before. I don't know when they started. But black people in general, African American people in general, have fought for years to not use certain terminology to describe them. And now they're going back to a time where the word Negro was used and acceptable. But they're not using that word now to describe themselves, correct?
I would say that I don't know if it's a curse word, let's call it, but people don't necessarily use that word to describe a black person or an African American. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, or person of color,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like you're kind of putting yourself back to a certain time period by even referring to this.
Yeah.
Okay. And like you just said, there's also the point where some of these players did not play against certain talent.
Yeah.
And now what happens now? The NFL will not recognize championships won before 1967, 66. Okay. It's like nothing happened. The league didn't happen. Records don't exist.
Yeah.
They were just wiped clean. Now you're going to do the same with baseball?
Yeah.
This is a shame. This is a shame.
I agree. It's at the end of the day, it's not the biggest deals. I don't think anybody cares anymore.
No, I care.
But
the reason I care because it's not right. It's not right. When are we going to add people's minor league stats? Might as well add their college stats. While we're at it, well, they didn't go to college. I guess you might as well rope in their high school stats. And then, not for nothing, does anybody have access to everybody's little league stats? Why not?
I think your case for the Japanese leagues is the perfect example. Why aren't we putting the Japanese leagues in? Ichiro, if you took his Japanese stats and put him with his American, I think he might have beaten Pete Rose's numbers. I'm not sure.
He does.
So does that mean to me, what's the difference? If you're going to do that and combine leagues, at least Ichiro, we could say he played 10 years in the majors. You could compare his stats, and they were probably as good, if not better than his Japanese stats. And yet we don't bring those in, and rightfully so. I will not
how accurate the Negro League stats are.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. I agree with that. Nobody knows how accurate those were. It's just not.
But then again, you can also make the argument too for Major League Baseball stats. The other day, I was looking up hockey Stanley Cup winners. Okay, and they have it broken down into different categories. You should look at it. When you go look on Wikipedia, check it out. You'll understand what I mean.
Okay,
and it was like this time period, and however they had it broken down. And it was like first there was teams that we never heard of before.
Right.
And then the second they did more of a best of seven. They did a little bit more of a modernizing it the way it is now. We still didn't hear about all the teams. Then all of a sudden there was the first one like 1915, 1916, somewhere like that, where they started, you recognize the names, the Montreal Canadiens, a couple other teams, names that floated around, the Ottawa Senators and shit.
Sure.
Matter of fact, do you know who was the first team with a name you would recognize that won the Stanley Cup by any chance?
Well, I have to think. I guess it would be one of the original six. No.
Oh, would it?
If I had to guess, too easy to say Canadians and Bruins. I'm going to say the Maple Leafs.
Nope. Ottawa Senators.
Really?
Yes, the Ottawa Senators were one of the first teams that are in existence today, modern league existence today, that won the world, the Stanley Cup.
Wow, I didn't know there was an Ottawa Senators back then. That's
yeah, they were around for a while.
Wow, they disappeared and they came back.
Well, I don't know if they so much disappeared as if they went to another town. Just like nobody would know now if you're a young kid and you said Atlanta Flames, they'd be like, "What is that? Baseball team? What?" But the Calgary Flames were the Atlanta Flames. Then there was the Atlanta Thrashers, who I believe moved and became maybe they're up to the Winnipeg Jets now or something. They moved.
I'm not sure which one they became. Yeah, they did. And I'm not sure which one they became. Yeah, I mean it happened. The Devils used to be the Colorado Rockies, and then they became the Devils.
Yep,
that's early '80s. So that's how long that was.
Late '70s, early '80s. Yeah, you're right. The first unis were red and green. They look like a Christmas ornament.
I'll give you one from the '70s. The California Golden Seals was a special team in the mid to late '70s.
Yep. Yeah, I believe they went to Oakland. They either started in Oakland or went to Oakland.
I'm not sure about that. That I'd have to look up. But I remember them as a kid. The California Golden Seals was a team, and then they disappeared wherever they went. But listen, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I do think it's wrong to combine there, I think you can celebrate it. You can make it a bigger part of the Hall of Fame if you want. You can definitely do a lot more to it. But I think if you're going to combine stats in Major League Baseball, it should be games that will it needs to be. If you want to tell me Jackie Robinson's all of his stats are going to come over from the Negro League and combine his Major League Baseball stats, I don't like it, but okay, I'll live with it. But you can't put Josh Gibson into the Baseball Hall of Fame or at the top of the list, and he never spent one day in Major League Baseball. I'm sorry.
Then I guess that means that somebody like Babe Ruth may hold Negro League.
Correct. Sure, absolutely. Yes.
Because if we're going to cross-contaminate.
You're 100% right. Yes, you're 100% right. Yes, I would agree with that. Then, yes, guys who own records in Major League Baseball now own the Negro League records.
If they had said, okay, it's the Baseball Hall of Fame, right? Is that the correct title of it?
It is yes, it is the Baseball Hall of Fame.
So if it's the Baseball Hall of Fame, then they can have different wings for the Japanese League, the American League, the National League, a combined American National League, Negro Leagues, and each one could be equally as important as it needs to be to get the point across. Because right now, at this point in time, I was watching last week, we went to a barbecue, or a party actually, and I was inside this place having a beer, and I was watching the Yankee game for a few minutes. At first, the San Diego Padre uniforms are just, I don't know what the fuck happened there. I really don't.
Yeah, I saw those too. God, yeah.
What is that? And is that their everyday uniform?
I don't know. I hope not. And their regular uniform is kind of bad enough, but that one, holy cow, that was horrendous.
It was bad.
I saw that. Yeah, that was bad.
I gotta say it was bad. But the Yankees playing the Padres on a regular takes things away and ruins things. To me, I said it before, I'll say it again. Memorial Day is coming up. Memorial Day just came and passed. Okay. Memorial Day came and passed. What we should do is have the teams that could play one another that are close to each other, you make them play. Either the other teams don't play or they just play amongst their league. So the Mets and Yankees, the White Sox and you want to do White Sox and Red Sox, White Sox and Cubs, something of that nature, that's fine. Pirates and Indians.
Not natural rivals.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. Make them play a 3-game series.
Yep.
At on each one of the holidays. I think that would actually be cool.
Sure.
If you're not traveling to go away someplace and you're staying local, maybe you get the option of a baseball game, whatever. That. Yeah. Now they kind of like they stretched it too much. I don't like it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Listen, it's. It's robbed the All-Star game for sure, and it's absolutely robbed stuff from the World Series. It used to be something special when your team played the National League. You never played that team all year. It's fresh, it's new. Like you said, you want to have special occasions once or twice a year where maybe on Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend, the big summer things. You kind of get a cross-contamination series. I get it. It still becomes special, but when you're playing the Padres regularly every year, when you play every year against the other league, it takes away from the World Series. World Series was special in that way.
I gotta take a leak, but I was going to add to that when I come back.
All right, no problem. Good. So the Rangers, by the way, guys, nothing into first intermission. We're a few minutes away from the second period starting. We'll keep you updated on that. When Jeff comes back, we'll finish our thoughts and then we'll move on. Thank you all for tuning in. There's a lot of new people tonight. A lot of names I don't recognize. Maybe Jeff will recognize some of these people, but thanks for tuning in and hanging with us for a couple hours, and we're having some fun and looking forward to next Thursday already. Again, great start by the Yankees. We didn't talk Yankees at all tonight, other than a little bit of Carmine throwing some splatter at them. But the Yankees are, this is a better team. Much better pitching. I'm not crazy about the back end of the bullpen. I got to be honest. I'm not crazy about Clay Holmes on the back end of this bullpen. But this is a better hitting Yankee team. They hit good pitching and bad pitching. They play defense. They run the bases well. I like this team. I would like to see them get a back of the bullpen guy. Not too much else. I'm hoping Dominguez comes back and contributes. I hope that Stanton contributes less. I like Verdugo. Volpe's had a good season. He's on 20 game hitting streak. So there's a good Yankee team. They still got to prove to me that they can hit in October. They have not hit in October for years now. Until they hit in October regularly, I'm not going to believe it. But you get Cole back soon. Hopefully he's 3/4 of what he was before the injury this year, and they keep hitting. And you got to love this team. This is a good hockey team. Obviously, we talked about the Mets and how they're not a good hockey team, and they're not. But right now, all of baseball in New York is being overshadowed by the Rangers. Hopefully, we get a W tonight and continue on. So, yeah, Jeff, let's finish your thought before we close it up tonight.
Well, with this cross contamination in the American and National League, right? So I know some people like it. I don't. Let's just say that you're a Padres fan. Mm-hmm. And the Padres have not had much success in their lifetime of their franchise. I don't know when they came into the league. I'm pretty sure that they have an overall losing record because I remember for years they were terrible.
Yep.
And they definitely went God knows how many years before they even made the playoffs or World Series. But let's say that you're in a weak National League West, and now all of a sudden you're up against the Yankees. But your team is getting a little momentum. You'd be like, well, this may be a good game. This is an up and coming team. Now the Yankees beat the fuck out of you, and it sends you in a tailspin. It starts off something bad. Now you lose, like 15 of your next 18 games or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this cross contamination could go two ways. A team like the Yankees could take advantage of it and be like, all right, we've been pounding teams under 500 all summer long. Now we got the Padres coming up and we're going to be able to beat them. And then if you're the Padres, you're like, this is really the wrong time to be playing this team. They're leading the league in home runs. They're averaging 8 runs a game. Our pitches are a little iffy. Our best pitches on the DL. It could hurt teams too. I just don't see the point of it. I don't like it.
So San Diego Padres came into effect 1969.
Okay.
And their overall record is 4,064 wins, 4,677 losses, a .465 winning percentage.
So this is a team that may never get to 500.
7 times they've been in the playoffs. They've won 2 pennants and they've lost 2 World Series.
They're one of them against the Yankees.
One against the Yankees and then one in the 80s. I'm not sure top of my head. I can picture that series.
I think it was the Brewers, bro.
It could. Yeah, it might be right. I'm gonna look see if I can find that for you real quick. Since we're talking about it, playoffs, National League West. Let's see. It's not telling me. Okay, lost World Series. That was 1984. And I want to say that might have been, could it be Kansas City? No, Detroit Tigers. They lost to the Tigers.
Oh, okay.
4-1. Yep, I remember that Tigers team. So, yeah, again, I just had to pick it up. But, yeah, I think when they started the interleague play, they were playing 1 series a year or 2 series. They would do a home and a home against their rival. And it took a little bit of luster off of Yankees Mets, but you don't get to see them in the World Series very often. I didn't think it was bad, but when you've opened it up now to basically it's no longer interleague play, it's just baseball play. I think that's where it's lost its luster now. And to me, I couldn't agree with you more. The one thing I liked about baseball more than the other sports was there were 2 separate leagues and everybody played again. You got to play that league for it all. And you no longer have that. Now you've cross-pollinated and it's not quite the same.
Do you know what teams have never won a World Series?
Okay, obviously the Padres. We'll put that in there. Who else has never won a World Series? Let's think. Hold on, give me a minute on that one. I think the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes, that's one.
Milwaukee Brewers.
That's another.
Let's see. I'm just trying to go quick, top of my head. Marlins have won. Phillies have won. Tigers. Cleveland. No, I think the Indians won in 57. So I got
Indians have won, yes.
54. Yep. Boy, I'm drawing a blank after that.
The Mariners,
Okay, good one. Okay,
Colorado Rockies,
okay.
and the Rays. So we got
Okay.
the Padres and Brewers, a 54-year drought. The Mariners, a 46-year drought.
Wow.
Rockies, a 30-year drought, even though they've gotten to the World Series in 2007. Padres, 84-98. Brewers, 1982. They were only in one World Series. And the Rays were in the World Series in 2008, 2020. The Mariners are the only team to never make it to the World Series.
Wow, did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of futility. Wow. They've been around since 77, I believe, right? First year.
Yeah.
77. And wow, 47 years, not a sniff of the World Series, huh? And can think about that. In 2000, they won 116 games regular season and didn't make the World Series that year.
The
lost to the
all-time
Yankees.
record for the Seattle Mariners,
Yep.
3,514 wins, 3,873 losses.
That doesn't surprise me. With all those early years of bad baseball, that does not surprise me. Wow.
I could look that up all night long. Stuff
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. That's the thing, Jeff. That's what's special about baseball is that you can literally sit here and just flip around to different teams and see who's won World Series and who's records or what records, and really start getting into the weeds about who played who in the World Series and won and lost. And when you combine the Negro League stats, when you cross pollinate both leagues, it takes away from that numbers. That takes away from that. And I think that's the one pure thing about baseball was the stats were separate, different, and distinct.
I got one. I had to look this one up, Tom. I know. And yes, I agree with you. The Pittsburgh Pirates have been in existence for 143 seasons.
Wow.
Okay, their all-time record: 10,788 wins, 10,761 losses.
Wow. Basically a 500 team.
Yeah.
Over 140
I
seasons.
got to do this last one because it's the Yankees, New York Yankees, because I can't see the Yankees having a near 500, and they don't. Wow. 122 seasons for the New York Yankees, 10,721 wins, 8,098 losses.
Not bad.
And I got to shut this, or else I will be looking up every team.
Well, I'm gonna do a little homework over the week. I want to see who are the top three and the bottom three on overall records for their thing. And some is going to have to be based on percentage, because the Mariners haven't been around as long as, say, the Yankees or the Yankees or the Pirates or the Cardinals. But I'm going to give you next week top three all-time wins and percentage, and the bottom three.
Yeah, I got a feeling that it's going to be interesting without a doubt, and because of expansion, it's going to be a little lopsided. Like the Pirates have been a bad team for many years since they won the World Series.
Oh yeah,
and they're just games above 500.
I would say the last great Pirates teams, obviously the ones that won it in the late 70s with Stargell and Parker and Pena and that crowd. Then there was that short time with Barry Bonds and them in the mid 90s, early 2000s. But since then, they've been a bad team. And they've been around like you said, a long time. Rangers just scored Kreider on a breakaway goal. Rangers up 1-0 in the second period, playing good hockey tonight. But yeah, I don't think you can compare how many wins teams have. It's going to have to be based on percentages. What their win percentages, because there's too much of disparity between teams like the Yankees, who've been around for 120 years, and teams like the Mariners, who've only been around for 40 years.
Yeah.
So but I'm going to give you top three, bottom three. I'm going to try to put together see who else see how many other teams have winning records. Like the Yankees. I bet you there's not 10 teams who have overall winning records in their lifetime?
No,
Do you think?
they're
Do you
gonna
think
be
it's,
teams
do
that
you
are
think it's
around
smaller?
for a
Do you think
long
it's smaller? Do you think it's smaller than that?
time.
How
I
many
think so.
teams of 32? How many? Is it 30 Major League Baseball? I think it's 30. How many teams do you think actually have more wins than losses in their lifetime?
I would say maybe the Boston, maybe Chicago. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm. So let's say it's 30 teams. Would you say it's 10 or less? Would you say it's 10 or more?
I think it's less than 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you it's not 5 or 6 teams that have more wins than losses overall in their lifetime.
I bet most of them are going to be around 500, like you said.
Yeah, I think most teams have a bunch of good years and a bunch of bad years, and they'll be 500, just below or just above. I think most teams out there, think about it, over the last 30 years, how many teams have been consistently good franchises? I mean, the Yankees, the Yankees, the Braves, they've had more good years than bad. But, teams that were great in the 70s, like the Reds, have been terrible. The Oakland A's were great in the 70s. They're terrible now.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to do that for next week. So we'll talk a little more baseball, and we'll kind of make it more a little more fun than the normal baseball conversation. But for now, it's 9:20. We'll call this one a night. This has been a lot of fun. There's actually been a ton of people tuned into this show tonight I've never heard of before. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. There was a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that I have no idea who they are. I don't know if they're real people or we're getting punked by somebody, but it is what it is, Jeff. If somebody tuned in, gives us a little bit of ratings.
There you go.
So, but guys, that's it for tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a blast, and you come back and do it again with us next week. In the meantime, Jeff's got a couple big shows coming up. You got the Food Truck Festival on the 9th over in Mount Loretto. Please get out and support 25 Missions as they do their big scrum here at the Ranger game. They just ran the goalie, Florida, and Rangers are attacking them as a penalty. I don't know who it's on. I don't know if it's on the Rangers or on Florida, but make sure you get out to the Food Truck Festival on the night, 2:30. Jeff's band, 25 Missions does their thing. And then, of course, the June 22nd show at Mother Pugs. Make sure you check out Jeff's band, the Remorons, as they do their gig that night. So please stay tuned to check Jeff's Facebook page for more information on both of those shows and anything else that's coming up. You got anything else you want to throw at him, Jeff?
No, man. Now it's time to just go out, walk the dog. She's been sacked out over there all night, and then make the final decision if I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm saying I'm voting no.
Well, good for you. Unfortunately, I will be going to work. So again, guys, have a great night. Thank you for tuning in and sticking around with us for 2.5 hours. It was a blast. Thanks to Carmine and my dad for tuning in, for coming on and tuning in with us. Thanks for Frankie Catalano and everybody else who checked in with us tonight. Thank you very much. In the meantime, have a great night. Have a great week, rest of your week, and a great weekend, and a great next week. Come on back next Thursday night when Jeff and I get together. So for Jeff Tomlinski and myself and everybody here at Hard Rocket Sports, I say thank you and have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Hefe, thanks, man. I'll talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later, man.
Bye.